This is All Hitches, the Nova Football Podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the Nova tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
I like that's just
Coaches' trees change so much,
Yeah.
especially in this area. Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep up with them. It's easier to keep up with the kids because the kids are locked into that school.
right. Or for now they are, I guess. Right, they're locked into their school.
Right.
I don't know. What do you guys think about the Senate 200 thing? Like the bill that they're pushing out about with the boundaries and the portal.
Well, I read up a little bit on that, and I think people were kind of misreading it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was saying exactly what people thought it was saying.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of language in
Right.
there, and it's kind of some of it is contradictory.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And some of the rules already exist.
Right.
Some of it's ambiguous, too.
Right. Very ambiguous. Yeah.
I think they're just trying to simplify things a little bit. I don't think they're trying to make it so that if you could just go to any school in the area. If you live, in Alexandria, you could just show up at, Centerville.
Right.
And be like, I don't think that's what it is.
Right.
And I think you would still have to get approval and all that.
Right. They're still going to look at population.
Right,
and stuff
right.
like
How many
that.
kids? How much availability do they have in the school? How open is it?
Sure.
I think all that stuff still plays into it. You just can't. I think the way people were making it sound at first, when it was in all the forums and everything, was like you could just show up at any school and be
But
like, all right, I'm here.
That's how it looks on the surface.
It does.
On the surface, it looks like I could live in Washington, D.C. and just show up at Centerville and play, and there's no rules, right?
Yeah,
so that's the surface view of
That
it.
is a surface view. And that's kind of the way and that's the way the articles are written
Right,
too.
right.
I don't just talking to some people. I don't think that's how it is.
Yeah.
But I wish they'd make it in actual English instead of legalese, so then you can actually understand what it says.
Legalese.
I mean, between like the school district redistribution, the congressional districts redistribution. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, it seems like Virginia all around is just going through some changes from as far as sports, and there's not a lot of clarity, man, going into. I feel like the past couple of years there really hasn't been a lot of clarity. There's been a lot of movement as far as like verdicts.
Yep.
Casting down verdicts, but I don't necessarily think there's been like an overall brush of like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here are the things you need to do in order to move from point A to point B. And like, here are the rules that we're going to lay out, the bylaws that we're going to lay out. So, and it has to have gotten really muddy if like the state legislature is going to get involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, a lot of times that breaks down to they'll pass something and then they'll give it to the county or they give it to the districts, and the districts are like, well, what do we do with it? And they're like, well, you figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it'll be okay. We made these rules, and now they'll spend time having to kind of constantly.
And then where does VHSL come into all of this?
Right.
Because that's the
governing board.
That's the governing board right there. Right. So if the state is like, okay, counties, you guys figure it out.
Yeah.
But then there's like a governing board behind it.
Right.
Like, I just don't know who comes, but where's the hierarchy?
Yep,
Where's the hierarchy start?
Yeah, there's some conflicting, so one of the rules that's in place, I was reading it last year, and it was and it kind of feeds into that, whatever that bill is that they're trying to put through. And it's if you're at a school and you've already started the school year, and even if and let's say your family moves, but you've already started the school year at that school, VHSL, you are eligible to play at that school.
Okay.
If you read
The new school.
anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, does that contradict the conversation we had in our last podcast about the housing situation?
Yeah, so that's part of it. So
Okay.
so when you look at the Fairfax County rules on eligibility, if they knew that person just moved and didn't no longer live in that district, you would not be eligible according to. So that's the difference.
Right.
VHSL and their policies for eligibility, and then the local.
Right.
So they're not always going to be the same.
Kind of like Prince William as well with the
Right.
academic track.
That's it.
Right. Or Loudoun County with if you have a ride track. I don't know I still don't know how that works.
I don't understand loco.
Yeah. No, neither do I. I'm still trying to figure Loudoun Academy out.
And the thing is, we've been in it for like 2-3 years,
Yeah,
and we
we're still trying to figure it out.
Still trying to wrap our heads
I'm like,
around
don't you
it.
live in South Riding? How
Right.
are you coming all the way out here to Independence?
Right.
Yeah, so it's very weird. It's very weird. Okay, let's talk about some
Yeah,
football, guys.
man.
First of all, this is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is pretty cool. So, for those of you guys just listening, we're at the Ledo's Pizza in West Springfield at the Northern Virginia Hall of Fame, High School Hall of Fame shrine that Wes is building out, man, and
doing a great job.
doing a great job. I would love to help him put some things in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys got some Centerville stuff.
Well, I mean, I think that schools that we visit next year,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
schools that we, go and shoot film for. I mean, if we let them know we're coming, we have a rapport with them.
Yep.
Why not grab a jersey for this place?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
why not grab an old jersey or a throwback, have the team sign it, and then come out here and put them in a frame? That'd be cool.
That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be really cool. Yeah.
One of the coolest things I thought when a few weeks back, he was like, I had Oscar Smith come in and bring in a helmet. And I guess leading up to the Vienna game, or Madison game, I guess they heard the show and they heard us talking about it on the show.
Yeah, that's really
And they were like, well, hell, we'll bring in a helmet.
That's cool.
I'm like,
That's
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
So somewhere in here, I don't know where it is.
756.
There's an Oscar Smith helmet.
757 helmets hanging on the wall.
Really cool. They put their flag here. Well,
Literally, too.
Yeah.
so the Ledo's here in West Springfield. Is this like one of the originals, or because this looks different than a lot of the other Ledo's that I visit?
You know what? I've never asked Wes that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's franchised or how they do that. But yeah, it is a little bit different. I didn't know they all had like a pub like this in the back.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No,
I didn't either.
to his point, this is not a standard Ledo's restaurant.
Yeah.
So the
Well,
pub is
you know
different.
whose favorite pizza is Ledo's Pizza. You guys know.
Here we go.
What famous person?
Oh.
Kind of put him on the map a little bit. This is going back like 15 years, 10 years. I only had it twice until recently. Oprah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like over a decade ago, and she was like, "That's my favorite pizza place," and then it blew up after that.
Nice.
Love that.
Little
that.
Ledo's trivia there.
Put that on your bingo card. So we're here in West Springfield, and like, man, if we're gonna start the conversation off with football, being here at Ledo's in West Springfield, like that's one of the teams we probably should start off talking
Absolutely.
about. I didn't have them on my radar. Brent, I know you certainly didn't. I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think you had them on your radar. Did you guys have them on your radar at all this year?
Not to start the season.
Well, they were in the semis the year before.
Right.
They got knocked out by Braddock. They made that move at quarterback. But they lost Mark Anthony White, who was like the two-time offensive player of the region.
He was really good.
Yeah. I know he had at least one, so they lost him. They brought back some other guys, but I think nobody saw them getting that the kid from Texas coming in, Wickham, right?
Right.
I mean, you have that kid come in. I mean, he shows up.
Kid runs like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fast.
yeah, he's really fast.
I guess it's always nice when an all-state player from Texas kind of just shows up on
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah.
That always helps things out.
And the great thing is they get him back next year.
They do.
They get it
Yeah.
back next year. They get it back next year. And they made some moves at quarterback last year or the year before with going Walrath to Lewis.
Scott Lewis, yeah.
And then they go with him. But yeah, I mean, they were somewhat on our radar. But Braddock was the favorite coming in.
Sure.
But you get a player like that. It comes in. And kind of have the year they had, and be able to replace a guy who was the offensive region player of the year, right? I mean, is huge.
Yeah, I think the jump that obviously Wickham, no brainer, right?
Right, right.
But the jump that I think Wickham's presence allowed Scott Lewis to have.
Yeah.
I think that was the big thing. It was like, can Scott Lewis take that big jump in his full year as a starting quarterback? And he did.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Defenses couldn't just focus in on him. They had to respect that Wickham was in the backfield.
Right. Yeah.
And he used him well.
Yeah.
He used him well to his advantage. Right.
Yeah, that was the first thing that popped out to me when we watched them play was for their ability to just go into 11 personnel, spread you out, and then the freak in the backfield, you focus on him if you want to, but Scott's got wheels.
Right.
He does have wheels.
And he's going to make the right decision 90% of the time. And I think that was a testament to their success because he was very efficient. And we saw that in the game that we watched him play. We saw that in the All-Star game that we watched him play.
Yeah. He was through the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
And he was very, very, I would say, precise and accurate when he did throw the ball. It wasn't just, I'm just lobbing it up, hoping someone's going to get it.
Yeah.
Very good decision maker.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Decision maker.
And shout out to the entire coaching staff because those boys, they were prepared. They were prepared to
Yes.
play. The way they took it to to Braddock in that last game, it was it was a fist fight, and they came out on the winning end. And it was funny because Brent and I were on the way to the game. I'm looking on Max Preps, and I'm like, bro, I can't find the last time they won a regional championship.
It doesn't go back 45 years.
It doesn't. And like I had to ask the AD.
Yeah.
And then when I asked the AD, she was like, yeah, I'm not sure of what that answer is either.
Because she had just gotten
She
there.
had just gotten there. It was her first year. And I had to ask a person who played for the team way back when, who got invited back to the regional championship game. And he was like, yeah, it was like 1980 was the last time they won a regional championship. So, if you had them on your bingo card, congratulations. Go play the lottery. But for me, I was just, it was Lake Braddock or bust for me, because I thought for sure, they had a senior team. Right. It was they made it deep into the playoffs last year. If they could just stay healthy and stay focused, it was their region was theirs to lose.
I think what hurt Braddock was when they lost Peyton.
Absolutely.
When they lost their run game. Mm-hmm. Now, no disrespect to St. Ryan. He's going to be good.
He was young.
He's young, right?
Yeah,
He's young. He's going to be good. And you've seen flashes of him during that game.
Yeah.
But this year, I expect a lot out of him.
Right.
But when they lost Peyton, that was really like a dagger to the offense.
Yeah.
Defense is strong.
Yeah.
Defense was strong, but that losing Peyton was a dagger to that offense.
Yeah.
Well, they were banged up all year. Talking with Coach Crush, they were constantly, guys were in and out of the lineup. I think he said they weren't at full strength on like the D line until like week 7, week 8. So I mean, just kind of working guys in. I mean, it's good you're getting young guys in there, but there were people that are depending on that. Just kind of in and out of the lineup. And I know even during the season they were nicked up. They were nicked up as well. And obviously losing Peyton Holmes was big as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think also they lost, they didn't have the explosive downfield threat that they had the year before.
No.
They had a bunch of young receivers.
Yep.
And I think that kind of hurt them because they lost
Kai Austin.
Thank you. Kai Austin. They're still the big tight end.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But losing Kai Austin, I think, hurt a lot.
Yeah. It was just they ran into something similar that they ran into last year against Madison. It was just they were inefficient on the ground. They couldn't keep their defense off the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you play a high efficient team like West Springfield was last year, you have to. They're going to make you play a damn near perfect game, right? You're going to have to beat them with technique. You're going to have to beat them technically sound, and you're going to have to play them for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
You're going to have to play them for 4 quarters. I think after watching the West Springfield and North Stafford game, really that was just a game of athletes versus, it was your prototypical game of, the team that's technically sound, fundamentally sound, athletically, they're middle of the line, right? They have a couple guys who can get them over the hump. But when you play a team like North Stafford, who has a really good athletes, is going to spread you out, and has freaks all over, that's the reason I feel like they just ran out of gas in that semi game. But North Stafford saw the same thing when they went to the championship state game. Not all athletes are built the same,
Right.
And I think that when you're playing in that game against a team like Oscar Smith, who's been there traditionally year in and year out, for them it was just another Saturday. Right. For North Stafford, there was a lot of pressure on them. There was a lot going into that game. I think they got banged up. A couple players got banged up in the game before. Yeah.
That quarterback was under duress the entire.
Man, you can see it.
Yeah.
In
Out there in
the
the
first
headlights, I was
3
gonna
drives,
say.
you can see it because we're on the floor, we're on the field, and we're walking around on both sidelines. And the game was probably over halfway through the first quarter. Both mentally and probably not on the scoreboard yet, but definitely mentally. There was people were checked out. There was animosity on the sideline. There was a lot of finger pointing on the
Because it
sideline.
was 21-0 early.
It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Not everybody can be Madison. Be down 21-0 early and still make it a ball game.
That's why we felt that was the state championship
Yes,
game.
I agree.
That definitely was the state game.
It was. And again, I go back to that experience, right? We talked about it in the last podcast. All of us agreed that we thought Madison wasn't going to have the same year that they traditionally had.
Right.
And, good thing we didn't put any money on it, right? Because we all would have lost that bet. Right. And I genuinely believe that it wasn't the Madison that we traditionally saw, but only in the first 5 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were banged up at the beginning,
banged
too.
up in the beginning of the season. But after the first 5 games, we saw the traditional Madison. Yep. And then once once you let Madison into the playoffs, like, good luck, right? Because of the experience, because of the pedigree, because of the coaches that have been there before. It was really hard to knock them off in the playoffs as well. But again, they ran out of gas, right? They didn't have that one X factor, in my opinion. They were just a really tough,
Gritty team.
Madison team, your traditional Madison team.
I think that explains those first 5 games too. I agree. I think losing, Dom, and then losing your quarterback, right? And I think it counts told us that most of those guys were JV guys the year before,
right?
That came in.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for the coaching staff and everyone to kind of, all right, this is not last year's guys. We got to tweak things, and then after a few weeks, okay, this is our squad.
They started
we know what to do with these guys now.
That's right.
And that explains the first 5 weeks.
It makes sense. And
I think week 5 when we saw them, granted, and no disrespect again to Marshall, but that's when they that's when the switch turned.
Yep.
And that's when they started to go upward. No more downhill. It's all upward trajectory because that game was done at halftime.
Yeah. And Marshall went into that game undefeated.
That's
if I'm
right.
mistaken.
They did.
Yeah.
I had that one up going into that.
We both hyped that one. Well,
did.
Well, there was a lot of hype in general.
Right.
But I kept telling the guys, like, guys,
It's Marshall.
I don't want to say it's Marshall, but look who they beat. All right, like just take a look at who they beat. Right?
To your credit, that is something when we sit down, we talk about stuff on our team meetings before we pick our Friday games. We'll pull the schedules up and we'll talk about this game looks good on paper, right?
Yeah.
The numbers look good, undefeated versus maybe 2 losses.
Right.
But look at what the undefeated has beaten. Look at what this team has beaten.
Yeah.
Who do you really think is going to win? And we try to decide. We don't pick our games based on that's the best athlete there. We look at records, we look at teams, and we look at scores. We try to figure out, is this the right place to be on this Friday night? Is this going to be the game? Now, for about, I would say 6 weeks, we were on fire.
We were
on fire.
And then we started
Yeah,
picking
because you guys
dubs.
were at all the games that came down to the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we just ended up with blowouts.
And then the back end of the season was like blowout. And then playoffs started, and then we got the wires again. But that's playoffs. You expect that, right?
Yeah. I think what ended up happening was like we ran into the thick of the district play.
Yes.
And some of those district games are just not appeling at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the Friday where you're like, all right.
It's the haves and have-nots in the district. And
Right.
if it's the wrong week, you're going to get a lot of
And
have-nots.
that's what happened to us when we picked the Woodbridge-Colgan game. We were like, oh, this is going to be a fire game.
Yeah.
And Woodbridge just,
Smacking on them. Yeah.
right, they smoked. And Coach White's first year, Colgan's going to be good.
Yeah, they're
going
gonna
to be good,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
It wasn't last year.
Yeah.
Right. Last year they were started off really well, but they hit that. I'm calling it buzzsaw because that's what Woodbridge was. I mean, they took down Forge.
I love the beginning of the season, man, because those are all your out of district games or out of conference games. It's the games where Stonebridge will go play a Martinsburg or go play a QO, right? But once you start getting into the district games, it's like it's hit or miss, man. You just never know.
Now, Woodbridge is interesting.
Yeah,
And I mean 2 ways, Woodbridge High School and the area.
right.
Because I feel like a lot of times, people tend to gravitate towards, a lot of the student athletes. All right, that's going to be, because things are done differently there than we're talking about the different counties.
Correct.
A little bit easier to move. It appears anyways, a little easier to move from school to school over there. And I think sometimes they see if a school, so-and-so's going over there, all right, I'm going over there too. They're going to be good.
But that lines up with the academic track in Prince William County.
Right.
So that's how you can do that.
Which allows a school there could be a flavor of the month. And you might see someone pop up. Is it Colgan? It was Garfield a couple of years ago. They had that big resurgence. Woodbridge came back strong this year. And I wonder if some kids, and we'll see, but if some kids find a way to get to Woodbridge or some other high school this year.
Maybe
kind of
Osborne.
Yeah, well,
Osborne.
Maybe Osborne.
well, they got 3. In my opinion, they have 3 of the best returning athletes.
Yeah.
coming back.
Yes.
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge for sure.
They have a running back that was a sophomore last year. They had 2 receivers that were juniors. I don't know if they're going to replicate a Caleb and be able to get them the ball. But to your point, when you got 2 freaks on the outside and a guy who can run the rock, who's top 15 in the state for yards on the ground, it makes it more enticing if you're a quarterback to say, all right, well maybe we can move over to the Woodbridge side.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about that side of Prince William County is all the high schools are very close.
Yes.
They're very close. They all run down 1 or 2 roads, right? You're either going down Prince William County Parkway or Cardinal or Route 1, right? And they're all off of those 3 roads, and they're all very close to each other. So it makes travel easy. And all those kids play with each other throughout their youth football.
They did.
Right? They all either played for that guy, right? or they played for AYFL, right?
If you guys don't know who that guy is, that's Coach Overton sitting over here, okay? That's Coach O.
Which makes me wonder,
Garfield.
so far none of those guys are going over St. James yet.
Not yet.
No, well, I mean...
Liberty just came in and offered, like, the 2 outside receivers and the running back. They all got Liberty offers like 3 days ago.
The defensive end, number 13, he's a junior coming back to be a senior. He's another one, too.
I just saw the offensive guys.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I mean, to your point, imagine being a quarterback or some lineman.
Right.
Or I'm going to go over there.
Exactly.
And Coach Edmonds got Garfield moving well, too. Like,
yes.
Garfield also met the buzzsaw of Woodbridge,
Yes.
but before they met that buzzsaw, they were pounding down the field, too, and they had a good record this year.
Well, didn't they won the conference year before?
They did.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
They
yes.
did. Yeah. And the big thing down there, too, is like that coaching culture down there is so close and tight knit. So really, it's a morale shift. Like, where's the morale going to shift? Is it going to shift to Coach Edmonds, or is it going to shift to Longer Beam, or who's it going to shift towards?
Copeland now.
Or Copeland, right?
Yeah. You're high on that. I like that.
Exactly.
I am high on Coach Copeland's a good guy.
Okay,
man.
good. I
He's a
like
good
that.
guy.
He seems like, I mean, everyone likes
He was a
him.
great guy.
He's a good dude.
Super nice to get to really know him during the Senior Bowl week. And, you know, we were chit-chatting, Drew and I were chit-chatting about who was going to get the Osborne job. And he kind of believed it was going to be Copeland. I didn't know where it was going to fall. And then when it came out, he was like, man, look. He's like, that's the right hire.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the right hire.
For that demographic in that school and what that school is going through with all the, I hate to say it, but like gentrification and Manassas and that part, that's the right guy for it. Especially with his pedigree in that part of Prince William County. You talk about a guy who can rally the community and bring them together. Those are the type of guys that you need to turn those Forest Parks and those Osbornes around. Like, those are the guys that you need in those positions. And like, kudos to Osborne for choosing, you know,
making that move.
for moving that move.
And for me, what I started doing my research is he's a Garfield guy. So he's from the area.
Yeah.
So having someone who's familiar with the area is only going to help the program move forward.
Yep. He's got a good staff, it seems like. I think, is Mel coming back? Mel Morgan kind of kept things afloat as the interim head coach last year.
Right.
He didn't want to go for the job.
He didn't want it.
But if he's staying there, which I think he is, that's a great guy to have.
You pretty much have 2 solid head coaches on that team.
Right.
Yeah. So like that team, that high school needs a community led coach, someone that's going to rally from the youth level all the way up. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, how about right on that topic, Coach G, Unity Reed?
Yep.
Unity Reed.
Unity Reed.
Yeah. Another guy with
Coach Wortham.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of ties out there.
A lot of ties out there.
Knows a lot of the families, the
Yep.
kids. He's been down that road before.
He's been involved with the community when Unity Reed was Unity Reed. Right. When you talk about the Ryan Williamses of the world, when they came out of there, like, he was there, or he was around the community. So.
Did great at Woodbridge.
I'm just excited for Prince William County because it has a lot of talent to offer on all ends of the county.
Exactly.
And, you know, being in Bristow, you kind of see it all. I'm so happy that the eastern side of Prince William County is starting to figure it out and put their athletes in position. And I'm so happy that the 3 kingdoms on the Haymarket Gainesville side, you know, they're figuring it out too, because, you know, Patriot and Battlefield are going to be Patriot and Battlefield, but don't count Gainesville out.
I think Cage had a down year this year at Gainesville, which is fine, but I think they're going to bounce back next year.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm not, to his point, the 3 kingdoms, that's why we put them in the conversation. You may have had a down year, it's fine, but you are still one of the premier teams in that area.
Get so much talent.
They're going to figure it out,
right?
Well, he said he was going to be really young to begin with.
He did.
At Gainesville to begin with. They lost quite a bit. I mean, lost quarterback, lost running back. He said they were going to be really young. And, you know, that district in particular, I mean, I know you said the 3 kingdoms, but it's Battlefield, and then everyone just trying to.
Oh, damn! Don't shade my man. Look, hey, Coach Finn, we got your back, bro.
That's so funny. No, I mean, you can roll the dice on all 3 of them because at the end of the day, you have 400 to 500 kids every single year coming through Gainesville Youth Football.
Gainesville Youth.
It's
Gainesville Youth.
Beast out there. You know, beast out there.
Power program for the youth program.
They got Dan Evans at Gainesville as the new OC.
Okay.
Came from PVI.
Okay, so
People
Haddock
are really
stepped
high
down.
on him. We're talking to Van Acker and some other coaches. They're really high on him. So,
So was
that could help.
Did Haddock step down because he was the OC, right?
No, that was
Haddock?
Battlefield. That was Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Yeah, I was talking Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
At
Okay.
Gainesville.
Yeah.
So that could be something that they need a little juice to the offense.
Right. I just don't. Battlefield just reloads every
Every
year,
year.
man. They just
Every
lock
year.
and load every single year. I hope that they can. And I'm not going to name the coach that we saw after their playoff game with their loss. He goes to us. He goes, "You see that? You have any 4 or 5 guys that could be on my team?" And like, it's not the first time I've heard that from that side of Prince William County, where it's like, we can bang with anybody in the trenches, but let us play a guy who runs a 4-3, and like, it looks like our entire team is running in slow motion.
Right.
And so, speed and strength and conditioning coaches, if you're listening, please, Western Prince William County is in need of your services. We are strong, we are explosive, but we are not fast at all. I don't know what the problem is out there. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, even Battlefield, you're saying? No, not Battlefield.
Well,
Even
no,
Battlefield?
yeah. I mean, it's
'Cause they're putting out DBs going to Alabama and stuff.
Sure, but like, what happens when we play like a team that can bang with us in the trenches and they take us out of our game plan and we can't run east to west anymore? That's what happened at the South Lakes game.
Yeah.
No, you had a young South Lakes team go into Battlefield and stop the basketball on grass, cause turnovers. And if it weren't for
Kate Ramey.
if it weren't for Ramey running back that kickoff return, we had the upset of the year.
We
pretty
did.
much.
Yes.
We did. It really was.
And South Lakes in my opinion, they turn around their entire season from there. But that's traditionally what happens to Battlefield every single year. They beat up on people, and then when they get their east to west game shut down, they don't have enough to go north and south, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because they had arguably the biggest bruiser in the state at running back.
That kid was huge.
Was it Blackstock?
Blackstock.
Blackstock.
James
Yeah,
Blackstock.
Blackstock. I mean, I used to watch that kid lift every single morning at Lifetime at 6 a.m.
Animal.
And I'm like, okay, like, where do you play? And he's like, Battlefield. I'm like, high school? What position you play? Running back? What the fuck? Like, and then I go see him play, and he touches the ball 12 times a game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, how I always resort back to coaching. It's like, I love the coaches there. I have high respect for them, but it always seems like they get in their own way when they get into the playoffs. I don't know what it is.
That seems to be an issue that we conversate about, right? Because when we sit there and we're filming, right, he's literally on our earpieces. Play's going to go here. They're lined up here. They're playing going to go here. Like, he's calling it before it happens. So it makes it easier for us filming to know where the play is going because he's able to see it.
Right.
But then he always comes back and we're sitting there talking. And he's like, if these coaches would just simplify the game and stop trying to overcomplicate their offense or defense, they would be state champions over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But they overcomplicate their systems, and then the kids get overcomplicated.
Yeah. Paralysis by analysis.
Instead of playing fast, they're thinking while they're on the field.
So there's a podcast I listen to, and the guy who talks about it says, confident kids play faster.
Yes.
If they're confident in what they're doing, they're going to play faster.
Right.
But if they're constantly trying to have to process, again, 16-year-old kid constantly trying to process things over and over again, as opposed to being like, I'm going to do these 2 things. I'm really good at doing these 2 things. They will play infinitely faster than what they're at. So if they're constantly thinking about these
And
things.
I think to shout out our guy behind us, Coach O. I think that's one of the things that we see with his teams. It could be Hayfield, it could have been Freedom, it could be St. James. They don't overcomplicate their systems, and the kids are able to play at a much higher and faster level. I mean, we watched Freedom in 23. I mean, they're blowing through teams like it was like a hot knife through butter.
Well, and like I've heard coaches say, "Oh, that kid just can't get it." Well, then you need to give him things that he can get.
There it is.
You need to give him things he can get.
Thank you.
If that kid can play, don't tell me that this kid is completely devoid of doing anything.
Yep.
Right.
If the kid is athletic and he can do things, and you're like, well, he can't get this. Well, what can he do?
Right.
And give him those 2 things.
high school
or 3
football.
things. Right.
It's high
Exactly.
school football.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens at the collegiate level too, guys. I'll tell you a story real quick. My freshman, sophomore, and junior year, we played under, rest in peace, we played under a guy named Greg Robinson. He was the defensive coordinator for the Broncos in the 90s when they won their Super Bowls.
You're a big Greg
he
Robinson
was
guy.
he was the he was the defensive coordinator for Texas when they were getting smoked by Adrian Peterson, in those days. And he ended up winning a national championship with Texas during the Reggie Bush days, Vince Young days. Then he comes to Syracuse. He takes the head coaching job. He's running all of these intricate NFL defenses, zone blitzes, just kids go in motion. You're checking to cover 2, even though you're starting off in cover 3, and all these just next level stuff, right? We end up, in his 3 years there, we end up 119th on defense. Awful. Just awful.
One away from the bottom.
Okay. Next year, Doug Marone comes in, and he hires a guy by the name of Scott Schaefer. Scott Schaefer had never had a job as a defensive coordinator past the MAC conference. I think his last time he was a DC, he was at Western Michigan. And all we did was change our super sophisticated defense into a trigger defense. Everybody has 3 keys. If this guy goes this way, here's what you do. If this guy goes this way, here's what you do. If this guy goes that way, here's what you do. And it was base defense every single time. We went from 119th on defense. 2 years later, we were top 10 total defense. And we made a bowl game, first bowl game in like 6 or 7 years. And so when we talk about the simplification of the game, confident players play fast. Absolutely right. You get paralysis by analysis as a player, and there's already enough pressure in the playoffs as a kid. Right? And if you're going into the game week, and for the past 8 weeks, I've been ingrained these specific plays, I've been ingrained these specific triggers, and then the pressure week, you're adding or you're taking away or you're changing up all my rules, and now I have a short amount of time to prepare. That does something mentally. Right? And you talk to the Oscar Smith coaches, you talk to the Freedom coaches, you talk to Coach Shields, you talk to Coach Counts. Like, they don't do anything outside of what they have traditionally done in the playoffs. If anything, they find, like, they break it down. All right, guys, here our playbook went from here to here.
Right. They strip out plays.
We're going to be really good at this stuff, right? And you saw it in the Madison game. They tried to do the stuff they were really good at. Then they threw in the wrinkle. Drove the ball all the way down the field, scored, and then we thought we were going to continue to see the wrinkle, and we never saw the wrinkle anymore.
I wish I would have seen the wrinkle.
More wrinkles, and then in the last drive, that's when we should have saw the wrinkle again.
Or go back to traditional, run the football.
Right, run your football. So, I don't want to harp on it too much, but, it's we see it year in and year out, and Brent said it perfectly, the game of football is very simple, and we sit there and call out the plays every single time. The formations all look the same. The plays all look the same, and it's just when they don't start looking the same week after week and in pressure situations, that's when internally as a team we know shit, they weren't running this 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't work. And now the score is 21-0 very quickly. So
and you're talking about
courtesy to you guys, right? We're able to watch everybody. Right. We're able to go back, see your stuff. We're able to see everybody. So if we're at a game, we're focused on that, but we can go back and see what's going on. So to Drew's point, when you start changing your offense, we're that's not what you do.
Not what you do.
Or defense.
Right. Well, we're talking about elite teams too. You're talking about Madison and some of those guys, Battlefield. Imagine the teams that are struggling.
Right.
Teams that just don't, and not everyone has talent, elite talent. It's high school football in a big area, and some people are just playing high school football to play.
Right.
Right? And it just is what it is. Now, some of those coaches trying to do stuff that their kids can't do.
Yeah.
That's really not going to go well.
Right.
And they're overthinking things.
Right.
Right. Sometimes, like you said, less is more.
Less is more.
Especially sometimes if you have less talent.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Give me your 5 best run plays, your 5 best pass plays, in 5 different formations, and you have that many plays in a playbook, right?
And that covers your whole game.
And that covers your whole game, man.
Greg Robinson, you got me thinking, this is what you're always talking about. To your point on Greg Robinson, there's a famous, Super Bowl. And there's when they're playing I think the Packers. Was it the Packers?
Yeah, it was the Packers.
And Brett Favre's got the ball, and they're going to have a chance to Denver's up, and Green Bay can win the game if they back down the field. And Greg Robinson runs over to Shanahan. This is on NFL Films. And he's like, what do you want me to run? What do you want me to run? And Shanahan's like, keep doing what you've been doing. Yeah. Don't change it. Keep doing what you've been doing. He's like, all right. And obviously Denver wins the game.
Yeah.
But he was starting to think, okay, I'm going to do some crazy stuff. I'm going to run in gauge 8. I'm going to do it.
So we're talking about running backs and kids that should get the ball, because we're talking about the Battlefield kid. Westfields, man, y'all killed me this year.
Yeah.
You had a two-headed monster in the backfield, and you're trying to force the ball down the field to your receiver. Now, the receiver's a beast.
Freak.
He's an absolute freak athlete. I get it.
Yeah.
Can't blame him for
Guy's a freak.
At some point in time, if you want to open up your freak,
Yes.
feed your guys in the backfield.
They had the J boys in the back.
Right.
All three of them. All three of them were good.
Right.
Yeah,
And you saw that in the Oakton game because they tried to air it out in the first half.
Wasn't working.
And they were like, all right, this isn't working. And they let Oakton creep into the game, which that team shouldn't have even really been in the game.
Right.
And then
Or should they?
They should.
We were talking about the talent.
Right.
We're talking about
Or
or
should they, right? So they're okay, I see that point. But at that time,
But I understand
at
what you're
that
saying.
time,
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
And then second half, they come out and they're like, and all of a sudden it's a whole different team. And we're like, why weren't you doing this earlier?
Buck 10 in the second half
Right.
on the ground.
I feel like for a team like Westfield, and I could be wrong, but it's almost like actually we talked about this with West Springfield earlier in the year. There was times when I think they threw on purpose when they didn't have to, and they struggled early on with it. But they knew later on they would need that pass game, and they knew they had Wickham,
The horses in
there,
their back.
right?
Yeah.
And I want to say sometimes I think Westfield was in a similar boat where like, okay, we can beat these guys, we can come out here and do our thing, and we can, But I know later in the season there's going to be a time we might need to come out empty or whatever, and just kind of start work on our pass game.
Yeah.
Let's do it in this game. All right. Okay, now it's close. All right, you know what? Let's just run down there.
But I think they learned that lesson because we saw them versus WNL.
WNL, yeah.
And they went they went pass heavy in the back end of the game, and they weren't even throwing to the freak.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, who are you throwing to?
Yeah, we didn't even know he existed
Right.
until the second game because he was virtually non-existent.
Yeah,
in the
they
first
didn't
game.
even use him in the first game, and then it's like we knew who he was, but they didn't use him in that WNL game, and we're sitting there scratching our heads like, who are you throwing the ball to? Like, if you're gonna throw it at one. But they went 4 straight consecutive downs at the end of that game, throwing it to guys that we didn't. And no disrespect to those players, okay?
Right.
Throwing to guys that we didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not their money guy.
Right,
I understand what you're saying.
Not your money bag.
Yeah,
And
There's-
again, you could have taken some stress off of Carlson,
Right.
put the ball in the Jays' hands, as we call them, one of the three, right, and let them kind of matriculate down the field, and then you could pop.
I mean, I think all teams kind of have their games. You look at it and you're like, oh man, they could have done that differently. Could have talking about Battlefield, and it's not just Battlefield here, but I think these teams that are rich in talent sometimes don't play all their guys both ways. And we've talked about this, and it's like that would help because I know you have that guy, you have that DB going to Alabama. Well, there's a lot of teams with no talent that they had a DB going to Alabama. He doesn't leave the field,
Right.
right? He's probably all region offense, all region defense. Right. But team, and I mean that's how they want to do it. That's how they can do it. But I'm just saying, I think some of these teams should be playing some of these guys a little more both ways too.
Yeah.
And that would help with some of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think another thing is that sometimes teams overestimate how good they are as opposed to their opponents. So kind of like late Mike Tyson towards the end of his championship run, right, where he's just throwing haymakers, right? Young Mike Tyson, right, work the body, and then boom, knock a guy out. Knock a guy out. I think a lot of times you overestimate how much better you're like, it should work because my guys were just better than your guys, and all of a sudden, especially when and I've been on both sides. So I've been on the side where I'm like, this stuff should be working. I don't understand why it's not working because we're better than they are. And then on the other side where you're hanging around the game because the other team are doing things that you're like, keep on doing that. keep on doing that thing because that is helping us out a ton.
Yeah.
Right? Fairfax. All the coaches said, every time you don't give Tony Rojas the ball, that is great for us. Yes. Keep on doing that. Yep. Keep on doing that thing. So I think sometimes you just kind of overestimate kind of your skills opposed to your opponent and think to yourself, I can get away with these things because, we worked on this play over and over again in practice, so I just keep on doing so again to make it kind of work out.
And I think that might explain, actually, to your point, the Westfield WNL game specifically. Yeah. I think there might have been some of that in that game where we can take these guys. We can kind of have our way and do it. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, what we do? Fourth quarter, it's a tie game. What's going on here?
They let WNL's running back just run, run, and their defense is solid over there.
Right.
It's a Bendorf run defense. Bendorf don't play no games.
No.
We all know Bendorf from when we played at Centerville. Yeah. He was at Oakton. Like Bendorf is legit when it comes to running the defense.
I think sometimes that's the best thing for a team in general. I don't even know if they lost a game after that.
What's that, WNL?
No, Westfield. WNL kind of cratered.
Yeah,
they lost kind of opposite approaches, too. It's one walked away saying, we just beat Westfield.
Right.
And then, boom.
They went to Centerville the following week and got smacked.
And the other one was like, man, we just lost. Screw that.
We got to look in our
mirror. And there's a big difference in approaches right there. Right. One won a Super Bowl in week 4
Right,
or whatever
right.
week it was. The other one was like, no, that's not going to happen again.
Right. That's a good point that Brent made with Bendorf on the other side. I think some of these coaches, they get in their own head, to your guys' point, like, who's on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Bendorf. Maybe I can't run the ball.
Right.
Maybe I do got to come out of the gate, passing 35 times a game. So I didn't even think about that and consider that. But
That's a Hall of Fame staff.
They do.
They got Verbanek, they got Bendorf,
they do.
Vossler.
Voss, yeah, it's good. That's probably one of the better coaching staffs.
Yeah. And then, so I mean, as far as the would have been, the Ben brothers, right? The would have been, could have been, should have been. Like one of the big surprises for me this year, aside from West Springfield, we knew Woodbridge was going to be good, but I didn't think they were going to be, that good, or I didn't know that they were going to be that explosive. On offense.
They lose Denari Hill, and everyone's like, "Ooh,
right,
yeah,
exactly."
Right.
And then another Centerville. Got to give Centerville
give
their
them flowers,
roses,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I mean,
Shout out Coach Shields, by the way.
shout out Coach Shields. Shout out to Baby Shields.
Right.
Shout out to that offense.
As Dan eloquently put it on their show, he said that is the Dan Marino.
Dan Marino of Nova.
Because that
No
kid
joke.
was
He was slanging
he
it.
literally, as soon as it's out, ball's gone, and that's literally like Dan's like.
Then he
MO.
started running, though. Then he started
Right.
running. All of a sudden, we were like, well, maybe it's the Jim Kelly of Nova.
I'll
He
tell you-
started running a little bit.
the game that we saw where they lost the game in the last minute or two. What game was that?
That was Madison.
Was it
That was
Madison or
That
it was
was
Madison.
Madison.
Let me tell you how much football IQ this kid Will Shields has. In the fourth quarter, they're down a score, but he knows they're about to score. He ends up throwing a dart to the middle of the field, and the coach is calling for a no huddle. No huddle. He keeps running like he wants to push the clock. He thinks he's running out of time. Will keeps telling his dad, like, slow the ball down. Slow it down. I'm going to score. Okay? But you're going to give him too much time on the clock.
Yeah.
Okay? Tells his dad that after a timeout. I see it on the sideline. I don't know what the conversation was, but they score on the next play. Will's frustrated.
It was on that slant, wasn't it?
Yes, visibly frustrated on the sideline. You can see it. He knows internally, I just gave these guys have been in these games all season.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to win these games.
Yeah.
We didn't hold on to the ball long enough. And sure as shit, like last drive of the game, they end up going all the way down and scoring the final.
Here comes Weiner.
That's right. Here comes Weiner, and you just put the team on his back, and he crushed it. And I just the amount of football intelligence and the amount of growth we've seen Will progress over the past 3-4 years has been
Outstanding.
Yeah. And as a Centerville alum, it was great to see.
Yeah.
It was great to
It was
see.
nice to see Centerville be good this year. It was nice to, see that we could say, hey, we played at Centerville too. So I'm just hoping that it continues because I know that they have a stud quarterback behind Will. He's gonna be a junior.
Really?
So and I've talked to some guys over there. They said this year is gonna be more of a learning curve, but they said his senior year should replicate or be better than Will's. So I'm expecting not this year, just get through the games, understand how to be a varsity quarterback.
Yeah.
But senior year, we should have another run through them.
Yeah.
I mean, Centerville's one of those teams traditionally, at least, and you guys know this better than anybody. You guys reload. Talking about Battlefield.
But look,
That was you guys before Battlefield.
He's not lying. But look, when we played, there wasn't 1,000 high schools either.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. Yeah.
It's like there's a Starbucks on every corner. There's a high school now on every corner.
And then Westfield came along and kind of ruined some of that.
Look,
took
Westfield
some of that.
stole a lot of talent.
And you got the new school being built out there now.
I know.
Don't sleep on the new school.
I know. That's going to that's going to ruin a lot of dreams too.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we don't, and no shade, right? But when Centerville was built, you saw Chantilly's program dip.
Yep.
When Westfield was built, you saw Centerville's program dip. And with this new high school coming out, I hope you don't see a combination of all three dipping.
So I did some digging.
Yeah.
Did some digging, talking to some people.
Let me hear it, man. Let me hear it, man.
I love it.
And again, this is just a kind of a, who knows, maybe a prophecy, maybe a prediction, whatever. We'll see what happens down the road. But my question was to a few different people in the know, down the road, let's fast forward 5-6 years. What do you think the ceiling is for this new team football-wise, right? With the different neighborhoods they're getting and how big the school's going to be and all that. Didn't seem to be a team that, from their predictions at least, that looking at the neighborhoods, and they knew these people know the breakdown of who's going there. They said probably a ceiling of, they said Chantilly, South Lakes the last couple of years.
Okay.
Pretty good.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But not someone who's going to come in there and do what Madison did, right?
Sure.
Fight for the state title.
Right.
And so there was that distinction. They were sure to say that.
Okay.
So, but you're taking enough talent to create a team in 3 years, 4 years, that all of a sudden is, I mean, South Lakes was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
So if that is their ceiling, you are taking enough talent from different schools. You could lower everyone, a little bit, make them a little bit.
Now, do we
worse.
know what schools they're primarily taking from?
Herndon, Chantilly,
Centerville,
and some from Westfield, right?
Westfield, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like we hear the Watchtower neighborhood. Is that the one?
Clock Tower.
Clock Tower neighborhood is.
There's some good athletes in that neighborhood.
That's my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's Brent's neighborhood.
Yeah. Clock Tower was one of the ones I heard.
A lot of apartments out there.
Hey, shout out Coach Carter for that
Yeah,
one.
a lot of apartments out there with athletes.
Now, my other understanding is that it also, and maybe this is part of it that makes it not as good at football, maybe, and not a knock on anyone. It's just, it is what it is. They might have enough programs out there that they kind of want to also make it a little bit, I don't want to say TJ, but maybe TJ light,
Okay.
right? They want to have some special programs you got to get approved to and all that kind of thing. They're talking about it.
Well,
And if that happens, that obviously, you're not going to be, football won't be the number one thing for some
Sure.
schools. And kids can opt out early on, too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I wonder this, because we talked a little about off camera about the stuff going on down in Richmond. If we start going towards an open district or start going towards academies, what will that look like just overall, right? I mean, will kids who want to play football, and if they have the ability to not go there, be like, well, I'm just going to go to Westfield. I'm going to go. Are you going to start seeing schools start getting specialized in where they're going to go and what they're going to do athletically, right?
Yeah, you could have the reverse effect kind of thing. Right. Yeah. I'm here at this school.
Right, yeah.
I'm a district for this school, but I don't want to go to a special tract, or I don't want to be in a special program.
Right.
And then the county says, all right, screw it. You get here's your voucher to go to these 4 neighboring schools, right? I can see that happening too. Yeah.
It'll be the Gainesville model early, I think, right? Freshman JV.
Yeah.
Maybe next year or the year after. They're still trying to figure that out.
Right.
And then a couple years of that, and then maybe by year 3 have the varsity. Because you can opt out the first 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to hurt, obviously, the varsity program. So I think, and they can have other sports at varsity, but I think football's a little tougher to have if you have kids opting out.
Yeah.
I think by year 3, they want to have the varsity program intact.
It's kind of funny because where Brent lives in that Clock Tower neighborhood, we knew 3 D1 athletes from that area. One went to Westfield, one went to Herndon, and the other one went to South Lakes.
So now it's not a funnel all at once.
Yeah.
Right?
Same neighborhood,
Yeah.
3 different high
3
schools.
high schools.
Yeah. Because I would pull up, and I'm not going to name his name, but I would pull up, and I'd be like, I'm in Herndon. Well, why do you have a Westfield High School helmet on? He was like, it's my high school. I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Well, my wife asked a couple of days ago. She's like, if we stayed in this area, where's our son gonna go? I was like, he's right now zoned to Westfield. She's like, Westfields? I'm like, our neighbor went to Westfield, and she's like, oh yeah. I'm like, but now with the new high school, we could be zoned to the new high
I
school.
don't know, man.
Or they could zone us to Herndon. Who knows? Like, I don't know what. We're
It's
not
going to be
stay.
aviation themed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your kid will be freaking,
Scott-
designing rockets.
Okay, I like it.
Gunner Rock.
I like it. I like
I
it.
hear it might be Skyview.
Scott, yeah, they're leaning towards. So everyone's calling it Western right now, which is simple. But we hear Skyview.
Okay.
Maybe Skyview Rockets.
Skyview
Jets.
Skyview Jets, Skyview Rockets,
Okay, if it's the Jets, you're not going there.
Skyview, I don't know.
I kind of like the little green and white, the little Jets logo on there.
Look.
Brent's
No,
a Miami fan.
I could not take. That's like your kid wearing
like
red,
Chiefs.
exactly red and
Yeah.
yellow. You're not gonna have that. You're not gonna allow it.
No.
You're like, I'm moving. I'm out of here.
My brother used to do that too. My brother would have my son come over to his house. They'd hang out, and then he'd send me a text. Aiden is like 7 years old at this point, and they're both in the yard throwing the football. I'm like, oh, it's good. My son and his uncle throwing the ball around. Sends me a picture, and my son's wearing a Chief jersey. And the kid thinks it's funny. He's wearing a Mahomes jersey. I'm like, take that off of me. We're gonna have problems, buddy.
It's all right. You about to get the national championship quarterback anyway.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Go Oakland, right? Go. But
A lot of movement though. A lot of crazy stuff happening.
I'm gonna have to rely on you for that one.
yeah,
man,
so we're just gonna
'cause-
get. We started off the conversation with it, but let's talk about these coaches. There's a lot of openings.
and then we'll take the kids, I guess.
Yeah, that's your department.
I can't keep up, man. Plus, I think also you have a very intimate tie to
The county
and
the area.
it really helps, man.
Yes.
There's a lot of the work that you do, like people come to you as a confidant,
Right.
because you're their peers, you're their colleague, and so yeah, we rely on you heavily for a lot of that information.
This is why we appreciate our combination of the MegaPowers coming together.
It's good. 50 years of kind of just being in this area and, talking to people. And
Aging yourself out there.
I know. It's right. I got nowhere else to go.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
by the
thank
way.
you, man.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh man, congratulations!
I just saw her last night, actually.
Nice.
Saw the baby last night.
Nice.
She's got a lacrosse stick in her hand already.
What you got for us?
All right, so I'll start from what we kind of know is filled.
Okay.
Or might be filled imminently, right? We'll start that with Robinson. Okay,
Okay.
so congratulations, Coach Pannoni.
Coach Pannoni, yeah,
He's back.
congratulations. Yep.
He's back.
Yeah.
And I said it earlier. Look, people might not like it. Some might like it. Whatever. I'm just looking at games, and all of a sudden, Pannoni versus Doc.
Yep.
That's a fun one again.
Yeah.
How about Pannoni going to South County?
Yep.
That'll be a fun
It's gonna be
one.
a fun one.
That's
gonna be
weird,
a
right?
super fun
How
one.
many times have you guys seen? I know it's happened before, but the coach going into the stadium named after him. That's got to be a weird one.
That's gotta be.
interesting.
I think you guys might need to be at that one.
We might, yeah.
That's a good storyline right there.
Pannoni at the Pannoni Stadium.
Pannoni
Right.
at the Stadium. Pannoni versus the Parkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one.
I mean,
Right.
even if Pannoni plays lead, I mean, that's traditional. That's a tradition right there. So.
Does Pannoni have the right? I'm instigating here, but does he have the right to put his flag down on the stadium named after him?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's named after you. Why
That's
would
the
you
one.
not?
Do whatever you want.
That's the one time he might be able to do that. If he's named after you.
It's named after you. That was a good one.
At the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about Coach Pannoni, the record, the pedigree,
Speaks for itself.
what he's done in the community year in and year out over the past 30 to 40 years, it speaks for itself. And I'm not the type to judge people on their bad moments. Right?
We all
Everyone
have-
has
we
their
all
bad
have them.
moments, right?
Right.
And he was obviously passionate about that Zoom call or what was happening in that Zoom call. He felt passionate about it. Whether you agree or disagree, that's neither here nor there. You're entitled to disagree or agree, just like he's entitled to his opinion. One thing I would love for the area to do is just rally around the area,
Yes.
right, and support each other. That's what I really want this area, why I want the area to move to and through, because there are kids who look like the people that he was hypothetically talking about that support him. There are families who are black and brown that support him and were not offended at all by what he was saying. Some felt like it was taken out of context. Some felt like it was leaning into a specific type of context. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I think that in this day and age, especially in 2026, with the media hyperbole, with how doxing works, at the political level, and how all of these isms and antis can seep their way into our game. I think it waters it down. It makes it not fun anymore. And so I would just really like to see the area just rally around Coach Pannoni, rally around the kids that are playing for him.
Especially the kids.
Especially the kids, and rally around the families that are supporting him, because the area needs more good football programs and more good football coaches to run those programs.
And you think about kind of your point. There were minority students who walked out at South County when they let him go.
Correct.
They were in full support of him. I mean, they obviously played for him and kind of knew who he was, and they supported him. The other thing to the football thing is that this is Robinson swinging for the fences, right?
Right.
I mean, they're trying to get back to being
Pedigree.
Robinson, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a controversial hire, right? I mean, it sure was not an easy hire for them to make, and so it's really interesting.
Right. It's Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, man.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
As Joe Biden said, right? It's a big effing deal.
It is. I mean, it is a big deal. It's a big deal for that program. It's a big deal for Coach Pannoni. It's a big deal for the area and the optics of it all.
Yeah.
Like, it is a big deal. And I hope Coach Pannoni is able to go into that program and turn it into the program that it used to be, right? Because people used to fear the blue and yellow. They used to fear that school.
And I hated playing Robinson, bro.
And I'm with you in terms of rallying, and I think one thing that we've talked about, and I've talked to a lot of different coaches about, from Coach D.O., to other guys all over Noble.
Right.
Let's put it behind us. Not me. I got nothing to put behind me. But I'm saying I want to see everyone kind of come together again.
Yes.
And you don't have to love everybody and like everybody, but, just mutual get along and go out there and compete, whether it's people are different. Now we got, St. James, all that stuff. But whether it's 7-on-7 events, whatever it might be, and not wanting to, just kind of get water under the bridge, moving on. Right? You live, you learn, right? And like you said, for the greater community,
Right.
kids first and foremost.
Thank you.
Doing the right thing and moving on, not holding stupid, weird grudges, or I'm not going to there, I'm not going to play those guys, that kind of stuff. And just let's go.
That's right.
At the end of the day, to cap what you're saying, drop the egos and make it about the kids.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about you. It's about those kids, and that's what your main focus should be.
Right. Yeah.
So Robinson. So congrats to them and him. That's one. Oakton, we talked about this earlier.
Okay.
Oakton on its way. By the time this airs, like we said, right, there should be a coach at Oakton. So congrats
to Coach.
to one of those two.
One of you two guys.
One of the two candidates.
Yes, congrats to you. We knew it would be one of you guys. So, and I don't want to say any names.
Yeah,
One
right,
of them's not going to
Perfect.
get it, and I don't want to say any names.
Right.
A lot of people kind of know throughout the county who it's going to be, or who it might be, but we'll see what happens, right? And we'll come back to Oakton here in a minute. Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're
Let's do it.
We're there.
Yeah, we're on it. Let's talk
We're on
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
We all had high hopes.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Right?
We did. Going into the season, we really
We all love Slay.
did.
All of us, yeah.
And no
Appreciate
disrespect to the new guy.
Yeah.
No.
No.
We're talking about last year and the year before that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was our coach of the year.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get to him in a minute because I know he's trying to move on to other things. They got a lot of talent over there.
They do. Yeah. They do.
A lot of talent.
They got a ton of talent. They got, their freak is coming back. Right?
Dalen Jones. They got Enriquez. They got,
Schwartz is graduating.
Schwartz has graduated. Shout out to Jamie McClendon and University of Albany for offering my man and taking him up.
Yes.
So, let's see here. You have Dalen Jones.
missing one. Number 7.
Jack Martin, the quarterback.
Jack Martin.
Yep. Jack.
Yep. So they got, skill guys wise. Yeah.
Oh, Vasquez.
Vasquez. That's who
yeah.
I was missing. Thank you.
He's a stud. And there's two Vasquez's.
Oh, I didn't know
There's
that.
a younger one coming up.
Okay. And he plays both sides of the ball, right? He plays wide receiver and he plays DB. if I'm
Shout
not
out to
mistaken.
Ms. Vasquez, big fan of the show. Look, we don't have a lot of. There's moms.
Right.
But she was one of the OG moms.
Okay.
Shout out to Ms. Vasquez.
Yeah, so between Jones and Vasquez coming back on both sides of the ball, Enriquez, and Martin, like skill guy wise, like I feel like they're they have a squad.
Yeah,
They do.
But like we saw last year, not always put in the best positions.
Where's the running game?
Where's the running
game?
That's where Dalen Jones comes in.
Well, towards the end of the season, they started putting him in the backfield. They started putting him at Wildcat quarterback. Started
Yeah,
running.
they did.
Yeah.
Use your guys everywhere.
Yeah.
Use your guys everywhere.
My whole thing with him is like when we saw them play Westfield, he was in the backfield the majority of the time.
Yeah.
It's what kept him in the game.
Yeah.
You would think you would take what's on film and say, okay, maybe we're on to something here.
Right.
And maybe we should keep doing that.
Yeah.
But to your point,
Do that. Keep doing
to your point, the next team the following week probably watched that on film, practice it, and then when they didn't run it, they probably said, I'm glad you're not doing that.
Right.
Because defense, they were sound.
Yeah.
They were tough on defense.
They were tough.
But they just couldn't put a drive together to save their life.
Need the running game.
Oh, yeah.
Need the running game.
Gotta have a running game in Nova.
And this goes back 4 or 5 years now, where they've had a hard time just kind of establishing a ground game.
Really?
And
It's never been Oakton's problem.
Never.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the first thing that new guy, where's the running game? Because that's the first thing, right? Yeah.
Use number 5.
They got to establish that ground game, and they had some big linemen last
They
year.
did.
Huge.
Right? Some big linemen.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball.
We
On
were
both sides
shocked
of the
walking
ball.
up and we were like, oh my good, look at the size of these
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, they're going to be a weight room program.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to be a program that's going to get guys from the Vienna Football League, right?
Right.
So they have all the foundations to be great. It's just a matter of putting the right guy in that position to make that team go.
Yeah. Shout out Coach Casey at
Yep.
Vienna. Vienna
Todd
always does a
Casey,
good job.
yep.
Always. Yeah.
Now, there's something that everyone's got to go through stuff, but part of the building the program, that they were, and I could be wrong. Mason, you and I were talking about it yesterday. We think they might have been winless at the lower level.
That's what we heard. We heard that maybe one win at the JV.
At JV and freshman combined,
level,
which is not like them.
It's not like them, but they were also very young at the varsity level.
All right, so we got an insider out there. We know somebody, and there's supposedly a running back on JV who's a stud.
Okay.
Coming out of Oakton.
There it is.
So they may have their run game next
got
year.
their guy.
Now, he's young. He was a sophomore, so he'll be a junior, right? So we're talking about a young guy.
Yeah.
So, again, you got to get your treads. You got to get used to the varsity level, the speed.
Hit the weight room this offseason.
Hit the weight room, right?
That's right.
But all of a sudden you put, and Jack Martin can do Jack Martin things, throwing the ball. But all of a sudden you get a package where you have Jones at quarterback and you have that guy there. Or you can play around, have some fun with that.
Yeah.
But speaking of people, young running backs, there's another one at Madison coming up, too.
Really? I'm not surprised.
Well, the area's got a few running backs in the area. We got a couple running backs in the area. But I don't want to derail your Oakland convo. So we'll get to that.
No. So so that's pretty much it for Oakland. It'll be interesting to see the kind of the rebuild process that goes through, because we're at a spot right now. Let's be honest. We talk about families and kids wanting to move around. Well, we're at a place now where if you are coming out of Vienna, it's not the old days anymore. I mean, there are kids who are like, man, all my buddies are going over to Madison, and I'm going to go over here. I want to go over there too. Maybe those families find a way.
Maybe, yeah.
So that new coach has to deal with that.
Yeah.
He's got to figure it out. You got to put your flag down.
Yep.
And you got to say, no, this is the place to be.
Yep.
Right? Forget about Madison.
Well, I think the tough thing is overall, because we're going to talk about some more schools that don't have coaches yet. We're in the middle of February.
Yeah.
I mean, I know DSAs want to go through the process and they want to go through the whole thing. To not be doing off-season stuff by the middle of February,
Talk about it.
is really detrimental to your program. And to see these schools, and don't get me wrong, there are schools that the coaches are leaving now. So I mean that's one reason. But if your coach is gone in November and you don't have somebody in on January 1, you are putting your kids way behind the 8 ball. And I guarantee. So we interview the Parkers. They have 6 a.m. workouts. They've been doing 6 a.m. workouts since the start of December. I guarantee you those kids at Madison have been working out
Absolutely.
there as well,
They
right?
probably got 80 guys at each workout.
and again, I've been at top program ball programs, and a lot of times when I'm programs that are trying to rise up, I tell them, if you're not going to beat these guys in January and February and March, we're not beating them in August, September. We're not. If you can't beat them now, when the only thing in front of you right now is a weight room and track and getting work in, don't expect to be able to flip the script because if they're already ahead of you at the end of the season.
Facts.
And now they've now increased their lead, and if you're going to try to catch them up in even in July, you're not going to catch them.
Yep.
And so when DSAs are dragging their feet or trying to get the right hire, you are doing a huge detriment because you're going to have kids. 6-year-old kids don't want to go to the weight room on their own for the most part. You have elite kids who are like, I'm trying to go to the next level, so that's why they're doing it. But your average kid, right, the 95% of them who are not going to play at the next level are not interested
Not
after
motivated,
school
yeah.
to go work out because they want to go out with their friends. There's a girl they like. There's 1,000 things on their mind, and there's not a coach in there being like, no, I need you in the weight room. This is why.
Right.
Yep. No, and for anybody who doesn't understand what that can potentially do to a program, just ask Stonebridge 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't make their hire after Mickey until January?
No, I think it was like March. It
March?
was late. Remember, he never got that early off season.
Yeah.
He came in late.
So, to your point, we're a month away from March, and if a traditional powerhouse like Stonebridge, who had the same kids that they had the previous year, can go from a 1-loss team or a 2-loss team to a 1 or 2 win team because of no off-season program. Right. The year he did get an off-season program,
Right.
that team looked completely different. We went to see Stonebridge this year. We were like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what is this?
We were at that Riverbend Stonebridge game at Riverbend, and Riverbend just buzzsawed them down. Right? Stonebridge tried to fight. And this year, we're sitting here like, what is this team? We're looking at them. They're smacking.
Talk about physical.
Right.
Oh, my God. That's probably the most physical game I went to this year.
Yeah.
So, to your point, you set your team back, and you said something that my strength conditioning coach at Syracuse used to say all the time. You don't beat West Virginia now, or you don't beat West Virginia in August. You don't beat Rutgers in August, right? You beat them now.
Yeah.
Who's up at 6 a.m. and then working out? So to your point, yeah, you get your kids ready now.
Yeah.
You get your kids ready now because all of that stuff lingers in your mentality in August while you're going through camp, and you start to look around like, oh shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We might not be this good,
Right,
this year.
right.
And if you don't have that foundation of, no, we went through the off season, we put in the work, we did our pit camp and our 7-on-7, and we did the hard stuff, we did routes on air when coach wasn't here, and we did have our practices when we weren't supposed to have our practices,
Player-led practices.
right? Player-led practices. If you don't have all that, then you, especially in this area, you set yourself behind.
And in football in particular, right? I had a coach tell me once, he was like, you get better at basketball by getting shots up and playing basketball off season.
Getting your reps.
You get better at baseball by going to the cages and hitting baseball season.
Yeah.
You get better at football by going to the weight room and doing the thing that is not fun.
Yep.
Basketball players can get 5-on-5 anytime they want.
Yep.
I mean, I grew up on the West Coast, so I mean, those courts are filled every day.
All day.
If you want to get a run, you can find a court and get a run whenever you want, and that'll get your game better.
Batting cages.
Yeah,
The batting
batting
cages
cages,
are
same thing, right?
Yep.
Those batting cages are open. In football, that's not the case.
Right.
Like, you have to spend the offseason lifting and running,
Right.
doing the things that are not fun, because that's the only way you can get better at football in the season.
It's the only sport where you do 6, 7, 8 months of training.
Yes.
Right, for your 3 months of glory, right? It's one of the only because to your point, you can go pick up basketball anytime, right? They're trying to make football year round, but realistically,
do
right,
it.
No, they
your body
can't.
ain't gonna handle it,
Not
right?
at all.
Basketball, you do that.
Right.
Baseball, you can play year round. Like then you have all the non-revenue driving sports. You can do all those things year round. But football is so grueling, it's so demanding. The time for you to get better is so short. And then you have to be able to put that on stage in 3 months.
Right.
And man, I don't understand the thought process behind it. I know we talked a little bit about like DSAs are trying to drag their feet because they want their guy, right? But the revolving door of coaching is just that.
Right, exactly.
If you don't set your guy up for success in the beginning of his tenure or his coaching tenure, then it's going to take a while for him to jumpstart.
Right.
And who wants to wait an entire year, a wasted class, a demoralized class coming after,
Right.
for us to get this thing right or turn the page?
That's the part right there. You're demoralizing the younger class coming in after this for year two. They're like, what am I here for?
Right.
And then so you lose kids.
Yeah.
And kind of talking back to Oakton. Oakton's ready to win now.
Now.
They're ready to win right now.
right now.
Right now.
Right.
I'm not saying that they can win later, but this season in particular,
Yes.
they're ready to go.
They're senior.
And-
They're
That's a
senior
lot of
team this
talent
year.
in one
And
class.
those kids have been sitting there doing nothing since the first week of November.
Yeah, I'm sure
I'll
someone's
say-
running stuff.
No, but I'm saying as far as like, whoever the head coach is going to have a program that he's going to implement.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're doing, I'm sure someone's like the
Yeah, yeah,
interim
yeah.
and doing work.
So-
Not to eating bonbons.
Yeah.
So and I talked to Jack at a 7-on-7 practice, and he's like, "Man, we've been grinding."
Yeah,
but
so-
he's like, "I'm just waiting to find
They're
out
waiting,
who the coach is."
right.
And he said he was on the board to help kind of make a decision. So like, at hearing it from the quarterback, who's like your leader, like traditionally your team leader, saying that we're working, we know they're putting in the work. But to Dan's point, what's that program going to be when that guy gets there?
But the question is what is the work? Who's providing that work? Who's providing the regimen? Who's providing the recovery? Who's providing all of that? And you can only go but so far with the 16, 17-year-old leading 53 boys.
Right.
And I credit Jack for taking on
absolutely.
but at the end of the day, it's like you need the true north of your compass to be there.
You need a captain.
to point you in the right
Well, I
direction.
think a lot of times the schools will have an interim coach,
Yeah.
interim head coach. Like we'll use Robinson for example. They had Mike Reeves. Shout out Mike Reeves, former Woodson guy. He was kind of, he was I think linebackers coach last year for Robinson, and as over this month and a half long process, he was the acting head coach. So he was putting him through the grind, putting him through the workouts.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was or who it is at Oakton that was in that, but I'm sure somebody was in that.
Yeah. Okay.
In that
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Right?
Congratulations to one of you two.
Our lucky winners. All right, so moving on, and those are kind of the ones that are kind of sort of decided. Now we got we're gonna move on to Hayfield. Who knows? It's up in the air.
Yeah.
Talk about revolving doors. You feel bad.
Yeah.
I'll say this. One of the issues of the instability, I think, and it's for different reasons. Some people retire. Some people, move on to a higher job, to Gatehouse or wherever. Maybe they move. But I think the DSAs not staying in place, right, at certain schools has led to some of the coaching movement.
Agreed.
So it's not all just on the coaches or they had a bad season and they got fired. I think sometimes just a new DSA comes in and it's like, well, him and I don't really see, eye to eye. We don't get along. And you see this at all levels, right? From college and the pros. New GM comes in. Like, that's not my guy. I need to get my guy in here.
Yeah.
And I think some of that has also happened. Now, I'm not saying it happened at Hayfield, but I am saying that they have seen a lot of turnover, in the front office.
And that Hayfield is a good job.
Yeah.
It's a good. Think about what they have walking around in there. I mean, Hayfield's been on top of that district for a very long time. And what's really surprising is that we had heard not a ton of interest. You would think that there would be a lot of especially coordinators at these bigger schools. If you want to go somewhere and get yourself a couple of district titles and then kind of either build yourself a program there to kind of go in and go out. I mean, you think of when Henderson there. Henderson was at one point was pumping out D1 and D2 guys yearly at that place. There is a lot of talent, and you hear people, unfortunately, I don't go to the national. Are you out of your mind? You don't want to go a place where you
can dominate every year,
where you can win,
Right?
And you get a couple D1 guys, and and it's high school football, right? You get a couple D1 guys on your football team. You got a shot.
You're the guy.
You got and also because a lot of them are D1 skill guys who can move. And in high school football, a lot of times those guys can end up dominating.
Yep.
And I don't understand why there was not a flood of people who wanted to go.
Well, now downside now, and shout out to our St. James guys who are here, but
Oh my gosh, Dash.
no. What I'm saying is, you have to look at if you are the coach, because you're saying, okay, if you're a coach coming into that job,
Okay.
right? He just named all the upsides.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upsides. There's good upsides. Okay, what are the downsides? All right, you're trying to think. Okay, there's been some instability, right, with the front office and all that kind of stuff. These new guys kind of rebuild a little bit and kind of. It's 2 coaches in 2 years, right? 3 coaches in 3 years, whatever it is.
3 coaches in 3 years.
3 and 3. So there is some rebuild and letting trust you got to build, right? As the new coach, that's probably one of the downsides. That's gonna be tough. And the other one is, there is still a tie, and you got to worry about some of your top talent, maybe leaving, maybe going to a private school, and that's a fight that you got to have as a coach. You got to be like, no, don't go, stay with me. That is another part of the job you're going to have to do over there.
Yeah.
As a coach, I'm just saying, what are the upsides? He named all the upsides. Those are good ones. I would still take the job.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. We're in agreement. I think it's a great job. Even with some kids transferring.
Yep.
I'll say this, even with some kids transferring to St. James and no longer going to Hayfield, I still think there's enough talent there that it's still a good job.
Yeah.
It's a secondary school.
Yeah, secondary school.
Yeah.
You got the middle schoolers.
You got the
in the
middle
weight
school.
room.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah. That's what makes Robinson
Right.
attractive.
And look what Hayfield did last year with the new coach coming in. And he talked about coming in late. He came in. Didn't he come in August or July?
Second week of August.
Yeah.
Second week of August.
Yeah.
So that trumps the Stonebridge thing.
That's true.
Oh my
And they
goodness.
still almost won national.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
give this guy a year. Oh, he might dominate. Now, shout out to Holland. We love Coach Holland at Mount Vernon, and we love Falls Church and all those guys. But Hayfield, once they get a little stability,
Yeah.
they're gonna be the team to beat again.
You talk about a team in that district that does have the athletes. Like, that's the team.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
No, anytime you're that close to 495 on this side of Nova, you're always going to have to worry about the boogeyman coming in, snatching your talent.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Right.
But if you're building a program where you're notoriously pushing kids out
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
successful, and the community knows you're there to stay, that drives more confidence.
I agree.
Right?
I don't think it's an issue.
I don't think it's an
But
issue either.
Even to your point, when we were growing up, Hayfield was good, and they still had the WCAC
Yes.
boogeyman right there in their
Oh,
backyard,
yeah, you're
and
right.
they were still good.
Yep. Still good,
right?
yeah.
So I'm not gonna call St. James like an issue because there's a way you could make Hayfield good
Right.
and keep
Well, the
your
perception.
athletes
I meant
there.
more the perception.
Oh, no, I get what
because
you're
I don't
saying.
think it's an issue.
I don't think it's an issue.
But it's a
No, not at
perception
all.
issue.
But when you're
Yeah.
when you're writing out the pros and cons of jobs that are available,
That's
and
gonna
you
be on
see
your
the jobs
cons.
that are available and all the pros and cons there, and you're talking about Hayfield and all the pros and cons that come there.
Right.
I think the pros and cons stemming away from 495,
Right.
Makes
Look
you feel
better.
a little bit more comfortable
Right.
than pushing more towards 95. And then I'm pretty sure you have the ego driven, like, I don't want to play for the national, or I don't want to coach in the national. It's
Right.
like, I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
If I have a loaded team in the MAC team, like, let's win the MAC every year.
Yes.
Right? And get it at large
Right,
bid, right?
right,
Let's
right.
win the MAC every
Yeah.
single
Makes
year.
perfect sense.
So, like, I'm right there with you, man. What a great opportunity to just put a foothold in that national district and then just build a powerhouse.
Right.
Build it when nobody else is trying
Right.
to. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to the guys who applied for that. We know, I know
Yeah.
a few of the guys who
Good
applied.
luck,
Shout
man.
out to
Good
them.
luck.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Herndon, same kind of theme as the Oakland theme.
Yeah.
That one hurt.
Yeah, we love Coach Richards, the way we love Coach Slay, and I think he was doing a good thing over there. Kind of rebuilding,
Yeah.
right?
He
And
beat South Lakes. You know?
Yeah.
That's like Auburn
Yes.
beating Alabama, right?
Yes.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know a lot about Herndon in general. I don't know a lot about what's going on over there, but it's a shame to see Josh leave. I think he's
It's
a
a
good
big
coach.
shame. Yeah. Yeah, they lost a good one. They lost a really good one, a young one, a
young
young,
one.
good one who was hungry
Right.
for success. Yeah, and he's very well embedded in the community. Like, people know who he is.
Yep.
He knows a lot of people.
We saw him at the event.
Right.
We
Right.
saw him at the event.
Right.
With how many kids?
Yeah, like 4 or 5.
Like
kids
he
there.
had the 4 or 5 Herndon kids at the event, and he's not even their coach.
Not even their
anymore.
coach.
And he's taking
and
pictures.
and he's still working with them, right?
love
still,
it.
and that's
Right?
the factor of caring for your kids.
Yes.
But to Drew's point about being a good one, being a young one, he's under both Bendorf trees,
Yes.
right? So it's like that guy knows football.
Yeah.
He understands the game.
Yep.
So it's like you're let go of a guy who could have changed your entire trajectory
Right.
at Herndon.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
And
understand
Bachman,
it.
and he coached under
Well,
Bachman.
That's right.
Bachman
You know?
too,
Right?
You're talking about the protege of the Good Old Boys
Right,
Club
right.
from the area. Like, he's one of them. He's one of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
from our traditional, like, godfathers of coaches.
Right.
From
He is.
Oka.
He is.
Like, he is the product of it.
And he's one of those guys. Josh, I mean, you guys have talked to him. He's one of those guys that is like, hey, he coached at Westfield for a while, and he's like, part of the things he implements is he likes to do things kind of in that Westfield style. He loved the way they did things. I mean, that's what you want.
You
Yeah.
want someone to bring in
Yeah.
a championship-minded
Exactly.
program to your program.
Yep. Best practices here, best practices
Yep.
here, best practices here. Let's bring it all together,
Right.
and here's my program.
And here's my formula.
Yeah.
But needless to say, Coach Slay and talking about Josh, they're getting a lot of phone calls right now. Right?
Good.
They're definitely
They should
They're
be.
putting that thing on. Okay, I got to turn the ringer off my. They're getting mad at me over here because he's just like he's getting blown up.
Yeah.
Everybody wants me to come in there and work.
Hey, that Centerville job is still open. I'm just
Look, Josh, we're getting there. We're getting there. We haven't announced that one yet. You're breaking news. Wakefield.
okay.
Wakefield. Coach Martin, Clarence, old friend of mine. He's going to go work in the athletic office over there. So he's not leaving the building. He's just leaving the program to go work in the athletic office. And so they're hiring a new coach. I think they got something. I think that freshman team was it 1 loss or undefeated?
Yeah.
They had a really good freshman team at Wakefield.
Yeah.
Now they got to keep their talent.
Keep it in-house.
Yeah.
Like,
You
that's
know,
the theme here
that's
in
an
this
issue.
area now.
You got to keep your kids at Wakefield. But that could be a really good job too.
I'll tell you why it's a good job. They have this kid by the name of Xavier Winkleman who was top 13
Oh, he was
in,
at the thing.
in receiving yards as a freshman.
Was he at the prep red zone thing? He was. I thought he was.
Yeah. So you talk about a team with talent on it. You talk about a team with a face of the program already still there. They need to get their coach on board, and it needs to be a good one, because that guy's not going to wait for that. That guy's not going to wait. This kid was top 15 in receiving yards in the entire state as a freshman. And you already know talent like that doesn't go unnoticed very, so
Not in this
to
area.
your point, man, like you got to get your coach in there so you can save the Xaviers of the world. You know what I mean?
Well, who knows who they're going to hire? We don't know, but we'll say this. One of the guys we talked about previously in this conversation may or may not be,
Finalist for the job.
finalist for the job. Right? Well, maybe not. We'll see. So they could be in good hands. Right? They could be in good hands. We'll see. Another one that maybe, who knows, in the next few days, who knows? Maybe we're saying congratulations to that guy too.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So all this stuff's happening now, fast and furious.
Yeah.
We said Wakefield. Another one here, actually, it's a great time to have this conversation. Freedom Woodbridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know PW News is a little bit harder to kind of gather. I don't think they've named a head coach
they've
yet,
not.
right? They haven't. Now, I don't really know what's going on, and I don't even know how many applicants they've had for that job. Yeah. I don't think, you and I have talked about this, it might not be the worst job.
It's not the best.
Not the best.
Yeah.
Well, I think one, you have to. I'd heard they're talking about dropping out of the Cardinal and getting 10 games.
Independent, right?
Independent games.
Doing
which
like a TJ schedule.
Wow. It's fallen that bad. It's gone that.
Well, I mean, they had 30 kids in the program this year.
That's right. That's right.
I think.
They got stripped.
And I know sometimes there are schools out there that are like, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. You've got to do the best thing for your kids at that moment.
Right.
And parents may not like it, community members might like it. No, you have. Let's say there's 30 kids. You have 30 kids you got to take care of. And you can't just be like, well, we have to go play Woodbridge and Garfield. No, you don't. Right. You 100% do not. You need to do whatever you can do. And another story. So Huntington Beach High School was in what's the Sunset League with Edison and teams out there in Orange County. And they were a doormat. They were an absolute doormat. And so eventually they were like, you got to get us out of this district. And so they did, or out of their league. And so they got out of their league. They got into another league where they could be competitive. So fast forward 4 years, they had some success. I think they might have won a league title. They go back in the sunset, and now they're able to play at these schools. Yeah. Not because the kids are different, but because the stigma of, well, we suck, we're just going to lose. No, you spent 4 years of kids from being freshmen to seniors who had won games, who are no longer being like, oh, we're going to play this team, we're just going to get destroyed. No, because they had won.
Yeah.
So now just the mindset of switching, of being like, we can win ball games.
Yeah.
Because, I've heard other coaches being like, well, I don't want to play these teams because they're lower than us. The kids don't know. The kids know we're playing the blue team. We beat the blue team. They don't know that team is a 3A team, or a team is a terrible football team. None of it matters. It's just building the confidence in themselves that they can beat somebody. Okay. Because they might hear from other guys, well, that team sucks. The parents in the stands, the kids in the field, if they win games, all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm not a loser.
Or just competitive games.
Right.
Yeah. Just competitive.
Just be competitive. Yeah. We can win.
Yeah. The shit talking ends up being, well, we may play them, but we're 10-0.
We're 10-0, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So again, I think you've got to do what's best for your kids. And a team like Freedom, who's going through the stuff that they went through, right, where they didn't play a full season this year, they scored. I don't think they scored more than 50, 60 points this year. You've got to get those kids at least to believe like. Because what does that do? And we'll go back to the offseason, right? If they win 7 games next year, regardless of who they beat, and you win 7 games, kids are going to show up to work out.
Yes.
They're going to show up in the offseason. Yes. They're going to be committed to go because they're like, oh, okay. What you're telling me now is paying off. As opposed to you telling them, okay, we need to do this stuff. You go out and play Woodbridge. We all agree was phenomenal football team. They get smashed. The kids won't believe they can win, and they won't see it as they're just better than us. They'll be like, oh, the coach said we could do this. We couldn't. So I think when you take that freedom, whoever takes that freedom job has got to do the best thing for those sort of kids, regardless of what anybody else out in the community says. You got to take care of those kids.
You got to grow the program.
You got to grow the
day
program.
by day.
Well, you got to pick the right guy.
Right.
You have to pick the right guy because I've seen the other side too. Well, Parkview. We'll give Parkview out in Sterling is a prime example. Their football program struggled for so long that they took the independent route, but they didn't hire the right guy, and so they're 0 in whatever 36 for the past X amount of years turned into a 2 in whatever moving forward. And that program is still struggling. They get like 27 guys that come out. They don't have a freshman or JV team. And so to your point, I 100% agree, but the school still has to do the work and pick the right guy.
100%.
Because if you drop down to an independent league and you still have a revolving door, congratulations, Potomac, Garfield, Hilton, and Woodbridge, because now you have transfers every single year coming from one area.
That's the issue.
Right. You know what I mean? So I 100% agree that you should do the best thing for the kids. Part of that also is hiring the right coach. Right.
And I question how many, we'll see what the applicant count is, but the one thing, and I could be wrong, but I think I'm pretty accurate when I say this, they were not a football power pre-DO.
Yeah.
No.
And so I think that the dust is kind of settling. Now, maybe this is a little bit extreme. They're kind of, they'll rebound. But they weren't a power anyways.
Yeah.
So there is kind of an acceptance. People got to understand they're not going to be that team again.
Yeah.
What was the old Rick Pitino? Kevin McHale and Larry Bird aren't walking through that door.
Yeah.
Like, all those studs are not walking through that door.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on my conspiracy Alex Jones hat real quick on air. famous quote a couple years ago was said, I'm going to go to a place where I'm appreciated, not a place that I'm tolerated. How do you win back-to-back-to-back state championships and get rid of the coach that's outscored his opponent 1,300 to 100 over the past 3 years?
Right.
And then when he leaves, you don't retain any of his coaching staff to carry the torch and move forward. Not that anybody was going to stay.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
You know
I don't
what I
think that was
mean?
happening.
But-
Right, that wasn't happening. They were leaving.
But they did have a handful of kids who did stay, who decided not to go to Hayfield.
Right.
And so how do you shoo off not only one of Woodbridge's Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right, but one of their Hall of Fame coaches in the making who has a rooted youth program that funnels out of your county? You chase him off. You don't retain anybody from the coaching staff. And then nobody wants to apply for that job.
And
Like that, all of that optics standing outside of the frame. I think they don't have I don't think they have a program or a football issue. I think they have a culture and administrative issue.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, and I'm going to take my conspiracy hat back off because I don't want to harp too much on that. I just think living on the other side of the county and watching it from afar, like it doesn't look good when all of those things happen over the course of a couple of years. But to your point, they were never the traditional powerhouse. They were never going to be the traditional powerhouse. But I think that when you knock people's, what's in the dirt for that time period for an entire class, you have to think like, why isn't anybody else wanting to come here even when this guy leaves, right? Because they were dominating the entire state. And so for you not to retain any of that talent and for you not to be able to bring someone in and say, hey, you can take this momentum and push it forward, for you to not even be able to field a football program the following year, hardly field a football program the year after that, and then now it's February and you still haven't made a hire for your coach. Like, I think it says a lot about the administration. I think it says a lot about the culture there. So, NRAM. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
that was a great point.
No. I mean, I don't know enough about them, but I do hope that they figure it out, and I hope that.
Me too.
You brought in a guy who's not even from the area, not even from the state.
I wonder how many.
And it just,
It seemed like a weird hire because
It was.
It was like from the Dakotas or something.
right. Very weird hire.
I wonder how many. Again, we'll never know how many applicants there were and all that kind of stuff. They got to figure that out.
And I think, kind of saying community-wise, because Prince William is essentially an open district, if you don't bring in somebody who has any kind of ties to the community, you're not.
That's
gonna-
it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Boom.
That's it.
That's
That's it. Like I said, all those kids that play on that side of Prince William County are community oriented. From Fredericksburg all the way up 95 to Woodbridge.
Yeah.
All those kids play for one or two youth programs.
Right.
And if you're not part of those youth programs, I don't want to come play for you.
Right, exactly.
And that's just what it is.
And that's why you see the programs that are good, the guys are embedded in the community
Yeah.
or have come from the community.
right. Or come from those youth programs that we're freaking talking about.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So yeah.
Now so the AD, I mean, if he's smart, he or she, start reaching out to you, to like some of the community football,
got to, man.
right? Some of the youth football.
And there's
See if you
plenty
can
of
get some
coaches
those
down there. That's the
Right.
crazy part is they have a lot of young coaches down there that are hungry, super hungry.
What else you got for us?
It helps to find teachers, though, and this is something Mason and I talk about all the time. You can't, not just there, I'm talking about anywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to find teachers in the building who want to coach.
Oh,
a lot of the people who want to coach
Aren't teachers.
aren't teachers anymore, a lot of them. And let's just say you're at Freedom. Ideally, especially, schools that struggle a little bit, you want to have someone who's in the building and someone who can kind of gather them around during certain periods and, different times during the school day. It's hard to function when you don't have that all day in the building.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talk about this all the time. We can't find. I mean, I'm looking, and more than ever, I'm looking at like some of the job listings. And we came here, like there's a bunch of schools looking for coaches, head freshman coaches, all these positions. We were talking to the Parkers last week or a couple weeks ago, and senior Parker Anthony told us, back in the day when he first moved here, back to this area from when he graduated college, he said I found a teaching job real quick, but I couldn't find a coaching job. Imagine that. Can't find a coaching job.
That's crazy.
You can find one easily now.
But that time frame was when we were playing.
Right.
And
Everybody
it was
wanted to coach.
The coaches were entrenched in their program.
Right.
Like you knew if I was playing at Robinson, it was Mark Bendorf.
Right.
If I was playing at Oakton, it was Pete Bendorf. Right.
You make a good point, man. Doug Wilbarger was our security guy.
Right.
Donnie Warren was our security guy.
Chris Cotter
was one of our security guys. Coach Skinner was our strength and conditioning coach.
Jimmy was a Santa Brea was a
Janice,
teacher.
He was a teacher / AD.
Donnie Warren, the old tight end.
He was our OC.
He was our OC.
That's fantastic.
Freaking Dan Folio was a PE coach,
teacher,
you know, or PE teacher.
Our
So
entire staff was in the building.
we
couldn't get away from.
We couldn't get away from for shit.
Yeah, we couldn't do anything wrong because
we literally-
some teacher would tell one of our coaches or grab the security guy and be like, "This kid's messing up."
And then all of a sudden, I'm in algebra class, and I just feel these fingers on me, pulling me up and pulling me out of class. Like, listen here, you know. And
Well, I think us being
that's
teachers,
that's a really good point.
he brought it up. He brought it up. I didn't put the two and two together until he said it. Yeah.
Well, I think us being teachers, and I can kind of speak because I've coached multiple places. The incentive to coach anymore for teachers is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I was in New Mexico coaching out there, they made sure I was taken care of. If whatever the schedule I needed, they made sure I had the correct planning periods off. If we had an away game, so at the time I was coaching freshmen, if we had an away game and we had to travel far, they gave me a half-day sub so I could get all that stuff taken care of. So it incentivized me to want to be able to coach. Because it was outside Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, which oddly enough was where Pinoni ended up being a head coach for a couple of years out there. It was much more like they do probably in the South, like Texas, where what you do as a coach is valued. You know what I mean? Out here, I mean, not just out here in California, it's the same thing. For example, in Long Beach, where I'm from, we have one head coach who is a teacher in the building, one in the league we're in, and Long Beach football is really big.
Yeah.
But it's not incentivized anymore. There's no incentivized. I mean, stipends have always been terrible.
Awful.
But they're awful. And there's no, you're not given any kind of leeway by administration being like, okay, if you're going to do this for us, if you're going to commit, I mean, football in particular, right? We're there in July. We're from July until November at the very least, and depending if you have a playoff run, could be through December.
Right.
There should be incentives for teachers to do that. And a lot of times because they don't do that, what you get a lot of times is you get young teachers come in, say, I'm going to do it. As soon as they have their tenure, I'm out. Because there's no incentive to keep on doing it. So I just don't, I think the value of coaches in general has been diminished so much that there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
There's so much on you as a teacher. I mean, during football season, I spent the last actually we coached this year a little bit, but like you just come home exhausted, and when you're going home, you have to grade papers and stuff like that. Like your whole couple months is just completely jammed, and if there's no really incentive to do that,
You get burned out.
Teachers won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
The burnout's real.
Yeah. Good point, man.
Yeah.
Good point.
You guys mentioned Skinner a minute ago.
I was saving that one for the end.
Well, yeah, okay.
No, but go ahead. No. We'll talk about it. You brought it up.
Because I don't know a lot about Loudon.
I mean,
Right?
look,
Loudon?
that's our guy. Like he's the guy that like grinded us in a good way, right? He definitely was on our tail, and that's another coach. When I was talking about entrenching the program, I didn't specifically mention him because I was going to get to him, but you knew Skinner was at Centerville. Folio prior to Skinner. Skinner went out to Wood Grove back early, like 18, 16. I know he won a state title out there with them, but now he's back. And now he's back at Wood Grove. He's been the head wrestling coach for the last couple of years. So it's nice to see a guy, and he was with Counts when they went to states.
Yeah.
So he was with Counts for a little bit, but it's nice to see a guy that we know personally who's taken over a super young team.
They are super young.
Super young,
Yes.
but to their credit, they've had a year of varsity experience. And now what we know is Skinner, they're taking that team over. I'm expecting to see them make a deep run into the playoffs, possibly a state title.
Oh wow.
It's going to be interesting to see his game transition. Skinner was very much like a heavy run, 13, 23 personnel type of person. When you see that Mickey Thompson, Spinneroonie type of offense, like that was Skinner. I used to watch him like clutch his pearls with Donnie Warren when Donnie tried to spread the ball out. We had a guy by the name of Drew Dudzik at quarterback, and the dude was a freak, and he would zip it everywhere. And Donnie was like, I'm not running 23 personnel with a freak quarterback. Yeah. And I could see Skinner like just having conniptions on the sideline sometimes because we didn't run the ball enough. And they have a kid, Dubkowski, who's a really young freshman, top 15 in the state for passing yards. And yes.
At Woodgrove.
Yeah, he was at the event, Colton Dubkowski.
Yeah.
And when you talk about a guy who has Moxie like Caleb Tucker, but is cooler than the other side of the pillow like Scott Lewis. That's what you get in Dapkowski. He's got Moxie. He's going to run a QB sweep for 2 yards, put his head down, run over the safety, get up and talk shit after his 2 yards.
Yeah.
He's just that type of guy. He carries that team on the back, and they wear his identity. And when you talk about a coach who can meet players where they're at and pull the potential out of them, and pull greatness out of people, like that's what you're talking about with Coach Skinner. I'm really excited to see where that program goes.
This is high praise, guys. I'm excited. I'm glad I brought that up.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that. Freshman running back, freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of sophomore receivers.
Sophomore receivers.
Donnelly. Shout out
So you
to
got
Donnelly.
Dylan Donnelly,
Yeah.
you got Joey Rodolfi, you got obviously Dabkowski, and I know I'm missing a couple kids that we were able to capture this year. But to Drew's point, like Skinner has the ability to pull greatness out of you.
Yep.
And those kids have it already in them.
Yeah.
He's just gonna find it and he's gonna refine it. And that's why I said, if I'm making up the February prediction,
Wow, I like it.
I suspect that Woodrow will be deep in the playoffs, if not a state appearance.
Wow. We heard it here first.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know. They still got Verina and
Well, I said state. I didn't give him the title. I said appearance. Right?
I'll see.
Appearance.
I like that, though. And shout out to Donnelly, Dylan Donnelly's dad, Billy. Went to high school with him, a little bit older than me, but went to high school together, and we've been talking to him. We want to cover more Loudon,
yeah.
and that's a guy. He's got some connections out there. We've been talking to him about kind of
It's a good place to
being
start.
a liaison for
It is a good place to start.
Loudon.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, so that's good stuff. I like it.
That'll get you into Loudoun County. That'll get you into the other. There's so many Loudoun County style team names out there, right? It's just
Hey,
it's
the one
a
thing
little
about
confusing.
Loudon that Mason and I we talked. I mean, we send the messages out, and it's a little bit different, a little more closed off, right, than PW and Fairfax and Arlington and Alexandria. So we're trying a little by little.
They're
Baby steps.
They're AD based.
Yes.
So you get in with the AD, you get in with the school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
That's the
Joni
move.
Windows and us and Joni, like we were really close, and because we were close with Joni, like we pretty much had all access to the other schools.
Right.
Yeah. So if you need us to plug you in, man, we would be more than happy to plug you in.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Think about it, we didn't show up to Stonebridge at all this year until the last game, and we just kind of tapped in, and they were like, "Yep, come on, come on."
So
Like,
it's one of the, and they're that type of community where when they recognize you, it's like show up.
yeah, they give you mad love.
Oh yeah. They love you. So,
Okay, good. That's good to know. So that's the schools that have job listings. Now there's some other stuff going on, and you alluded to it a minute ago. We'll start there. First, let's tip the hat.
Yep.
Right. Coach Shields.
Yep.
Yeah.
At Centerville told his students, told the parents, told the families that he wasn't going to come back at the end of the year. He's got kids in college
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
We kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And shout out to him. What a way to go out.
What a way to go out.
Great way to go out. A great career, as an educator and coach. So we talked to Centerville football today or last night, and we said, well, I want to mention it, and they gave us the kind of the green light to mention it. So they haven't posted it. I guess they're going to probably post it this week. They usually post those jobs midweek on the website. So I'm assuming this week midweek it'll come out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that job. Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill.
Huge
Hey
shoes
Josh,
to
you
fill.
heard that right?
Huge shoes to fill. So that's one. Interesting one. We talked about Fairfax. We don't really know what's happening there. All we know is that Fairfax ended the year with an interim coach, and Coach Frank, and he did a good job kind of keeping things together. Right? He had Coach Pannoni helping him, but they haven't listed a job.
Yeah.
So we know that. I think legally, they have to post the job. Even if you love your interim, you have to post it to make the hire.
Yeah.
They haven't posted yet, so we'll see what happens with Fairfax.
Okay. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. That was my dark horse. This time last year, and he doesn't let me live it down. So, every year, it's like I predict Fairfax to make a run. They still got some big boys though coming back. They got Murad, big Anthony Murad, and some other guys. So we'll see. I think that's it with the job.
Yeah, and there's always that weird March, April job that just pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, randomly, right?
Every year.
Yeah. So was it?
Want to give shout out though, one of the recent hires we didn't say just last week, TJ and Rachel Worsham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Breaking the
Congratulations.
ceiling, all that stuff. Right, it's a big deal.
And then on the flip side, we're not going to step away from football. They also hired another lady at the baseball head coaching job too. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I only saw it like 2 days ago. They had a post on it, and it was like, I think it's one of the Nova football pages on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I saw they had both of them, and I'm like, is this football? And I said, oh, football and baseball. I said,
Wow.
oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
Good for them. So cool.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
You know, I know she was at Robinson. She was at Marshall. So she's been, you know, she played football. So I think it could be a good hire.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely breaking some ceilings there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to give one small shout out to Mount Vernon, right? I didn't expect it. First year head coach, they had a fantastic season.
Good, yeah.
And you did give us a heads up about them coming down and saying that they were going to be good.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Historically, we don't think of Mount Vernon, right? So what he did this year as a first year head coach was a good job. So
You loved him at that 7 on
Yeah. And we've been big fans of the Moret kid. If Moret was about 4 inches taller, he'd be.
D1 guy.
Yeah.
He got an offer. He got a PWO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saw it. I'm going to share it with you.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot where, but Division I, PWO. I just saw Coach Taylor, their previous coach, just posted it and shared it.
Nice.
And in today's recruiting landscapes, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal
That's a big
because you know, and I think Dio talked about it with you guys, and everything I've read was like these D1 coaches they don't recruit kids anymore.
no. They don't.
Give me a 21-year-old man. That's
right.
Give me a 21-year-old man who spent 3 years in the college weight room.
That's right.
And can play now.
Now.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, over and over again, I've said it over and over again on this podcast. If I have a family and I relocate my children, my family here to this place, and I'm weighing out options, and I ask my wife, who do you think I should entrust in our relocation and our stability? Is it going to be this 18-year-old kid, the 17-year-old kid who's never played a down of college football? He is eligible, but I don't know if he can make it academically, you know, at the next level. He's a developmental guy. I don't know. He did have a good high school career. I just don't know. Or should I entrust in this, like you said, this 21-year-old? He's already graduated his undergrad, right? And he's got 2 more years of eligibility. He redshirted his first year. His next year he got a couple of snaps, but his last year he had a breakout year. Mm-hmm. All right, and you know, babe, I need help. Which one should I trust in? The wife is 100% of the time is going to pick the grown man.
Right.
All right, and so what I try to explain to parents and to these kids is like, you're not the best option. Right. You're just not.
Right.
And no disrespect.
And that's
No.
okay.
Right.
All right. What you need to do is you need to go play JV.
Essentially,
Go
right?
play freshman ball.
Right.
Okay. And that's no knock at these other institutions who are not P4.
Yeah.
But that's what you are. You're a feeder program.
Yeah.
The NFL does not have a developmental league. Its developmental league is the P4.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to make the developmental league.
Right.
And if you're getting offers out of high school to the developmental league, more power to you. Don't leave.
Yeah.
Right, unless you're asked to leave, which a lot of those kids are asked to leave. Right, hey, it's
not working.
You're not as good as we thought you were, and I'm gonna get a transfer. I'm gonna get a transfer guy in here. But if you're at a P4 school, if you're not getting playing time, don't willingly make yourself a free agent. Right,
Boom.
right. Don't willingly make yourself a free agent. Go play Caleb for an example. You know, we went through an entire offseason with him and his mom. Like, he's not getting any looks. He's not. They're not even right. And he comes out on the back end with West Carolina
D1
offer,
offer.
D1 offer. Right. Is it the best offer? No, it's not. Is it an offer where Caleb should go and maximize his potential and his opportunity? Absolutely. Right. And if you're not in that mental space, if you are a second team All Concord District guy and you have G6 offers, that's okay. Go take your G6 offer, go take your lumps, go put some shit on film, and then you know, go enter the transfer portal when you're the obvious choice. But
We mean game film, not practice
game
film.
not practice film, right? But you know, when you come out of this high school, or when you come out of this area, you're competing against all the kids from the region. When you enter the transfer portal, you're competing against 2,000 other guys that have played P4 ball. Right. And you're no longer the obvious choice. So you make a great point, man. Sorry to go on a rant.
No, it's good. And 2 points, two examples.
Yeah.
One, obviously, saw at the highest level at the college playoffs with our guy Trinidad.
Right.
Division two,
Right.
Division 2 guy.
Right.
Going up.
And then local, Connor Berry. right? Division III guy,
Right.
Now at Penn State,
Right. Yeah.
It can happen.
And then the other way around, I'm not going to name any names. We had a guy that we followed, in LC who full ride to ODU, didn't get any burn, redshirted that year, decided to enter the transfer portal, and now he can't go above D1 AA D3. So we've seen it happen both ways, and I just, for the people that are mentoring these kids, let them know, you get what you get, you don't get upset, but you can maximize your potential out of what you have, and then if you make yourself the obvious choice, then we can move on to the next level. But this whole, to your point, this whole I'm going to get a P4 offer out of high school, no, you're not. The chances are very, very slim, unless you're dominating this area.
And I think we've talked about before. Think about yourself. I can tell you right now, when I was 22 years old, I could beat the crap out of my 18-year-old self like that, right? I mean,
that's facts,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, just through development. And I think the problem, we're talking about Portal 1 is what they said was there was 1,700 kids who ended up not getting picked up.
Yep.
There were 1,700 kids who were playing college football last year who are now sitting at home, going to a JUCO, watching their clock just go. Now the flip side is we don't know the conversations where the coach brings them in and says, "Hey,
it ain't working out.
Right. You might want to hit up the portal." Right. It's, I mean that's the other flip side for it. But I think you're right. I think they keep on chasing it, and you're like, why don't you redshirt for a year? Give yourself another spring, see what it looks like. You get to your sophomore year, and then the kind of writings on the wall.
Right.
But when you bail as a freshman, you have no idea.
No, you don't. I know my trajectory would have been completely different. First of all, Syracuse would have never offered me in 2026. They just wouldn't have. They're getting transfer portal guys. My route would have been probably a Frostburg to a JMU. To somewhere else. That's exactly where it would have been. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? I probably would have spent 2 years at Frostburg. I probably would have went to JMU and redshirted still. Right? And then came out of the other end as a junior, had a balling season, and then maybe I'll test the waters with my NIL, right? But that, you're talking about a guy who started for 3 years at Syracuse. That would have been my trajectory in 2026. So, yeah. Sorry.
And to bring it back around to the young man we were just talking about, who was it? It was Moret from Mount Vernon. You were talking about using your weapons earlier. I had to say this. Coach Holland from Mount Vernon is a guy who said, "All right, this is what I got.
Right.
All right, I got that guy. All right, you're going to play running back. You're going to play receiver. You're going to play kick returner. You're going to do quarterback.
Yep.
Whatever it takes. We're going to win this game." And I'm going to use that guy to get me there.
Right.
And so shout out to Coach Holland. He's a good guy, and he had a great season.
And I can guarantee you that those kids that played with Moret, this offseason, they're following that guy.
Yes.
That's my guy. That's my captain. That is that's Thanos of the group.
Yeah.
Right. And so if he's in the weight room, we're in the weight room. Right. He has his guy now that can build the foundation of his program, and we haven't been able to name that guy for a Mount Vernon program like that in God knows how long.
Years.
Right.
So
maybe decades.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had a kid who was very similar to Matthew Moret, who played at Villanova last couple of years in Christian Brittany. Same kind of thing. I mean, he was a 4.8 GPA kid.
Smart.
But his senior year, if there were sophomores at the time who were not showing to 7-7, he would drive to their house. Yeah. Being like, you need to get in the car because you need to go.
I like that.
He in fact, Aiden, his son Aiden was a freshman, and there was rumblings because Woodson is a tough program to be around sometimes. I remember he told me he on a text chain was like, "Do not leave. You guys are a good group. You need to stay together. I know you think things are better other places, but that's not the case. When you have a kid who ends up being a senior leader, that's willing to do those kind of things. I mean that does kind of your point.
Changes the program, man.
It's huge part for
That's
it.
what Will did this year for Centerville.
They did.
Yeah. That's what Will did this year for Centerville. So.
And just have fun.
Yeah.
Mason and I talk about this all the time, and playing in college, whatever. There's also just playing high school football. Right, I think so many people look at it as like, well, I'm not playing there, they stink, or I'm not playing there, I can't get an offer there. I can't. It's not all about all that stuff. I mean, sometimes it's just about having
experience.
Your team might not be good,
Yeah.
and you might not be Rojas. You can't make a team great just on one guy.
Right.
But play, have a good time. And not very many people all of us know go back and say, "Oh, I hated my experience."
Right.
That's a very small.
Very small.
And a lot of those people were on bad teams too.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can use myself as an example, and I don't mind saying this now. I didn't start at Centerville. I wasn't a player. I enjoyed all 4 years that I played at Centerville. I didn't get recruited, right? But I didn't know the process. So now doing what we're doing with levels on the app side, I understand the process, but I wish I would have known it then. But even so, I enjoyed every minute of my time at Centerville. I was scout team guy. I gave it my all. Our producer was a starter, and I would have to go against him all the time. And I enjoy those moments. And we still laugh and joke about that. I coached Andrew. I enjoyed my time at Centerville when I was there. That's how we met. Like, that was a great time. So it's okay if you're not the guy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy the time you have.
Right.
Because one thing Skinner always said to us, when this is over,
It's over.
Yeah.
this will be the last time you put pads on. And that sank in when we got back from our state championship after Deep Creek, and I handed in those pads. And I was like, I'm never putting these on again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a hard feeling. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just maximize what you have when you have there.
That's right. And it's the fraternity.
Yeah.
I don't miss any of the stuff. I miss the fraternity.
I miss the
being,
locker
I
room.
miss being around my guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I running yourself into 300-pound men suck. Running 25 110s timed is awful. Okay? Lifting 5 days a week sucks. All right? What I really liked was dicking around with my guys.
Right.
Bus
rides.
the bus rides,
plane
the
rides.
plane rides, the
Right.
hotel
Hotels,
trips.
right.
My God,
Right.
it was fun. You know what I mean? The summers where nobody was on campus except for us, and it was like Lord of the fucking Flies, for an entire 3 months. So, that's what I miss. I miss those guys. Brent hears me all the time with one of my guys. Someone's always calling me and talking and just trying to catch up. And I encourage people to play football because in 2026, that fraternity, the group of men where we all have one common goal, that goes away very quickly once you get out of high school.
Yes.
It's hard to find that again. Right. There's a reason people are going to church again. There's a reason people are joining fraternities again. There's a reason, people are joining fraternities outside of the college campuses again, whatever that fraternity looks like. And I think there's a clamor for us to want to develop as a group and find a common goal with like-minded men. And what better way to do that than football? We all come here, we put on these plastic things, and we chase a dead pig up and down a green field.
That's facts.
And it's fun.
It's fun.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the one
experience.
sport you can't play again, right?
No.
Right. We could, right now, all four of us get one more guy, and we could join the men's basketball league
Right.
and play with
That's
a
right.
ref and have subs and have scoreboards. We can find 4 other guys and play baseball,
Baseball
right away. We
league,
can have
right,
soccer. We can even find lacrosse stuff, right? Like so you did.
They have men's leagues for everything.
Everything.
now.
Yeah. 45U is not cool.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
We went. I mean, we at the beginning of during the summer we captured this A7FL league.
Man.
It was like padless football. It was like 8-on-8, and I'm just like,
I'm not
do
doing
any
this.
of you guys have insurance? I am entirely too responsible for this to go out
It's
there.
like, I'm gonna play on a Sunday. If I get hurt, I gotta still show up to work
Work
on Monday.
No thanks,
I'm
man.
good,
No,
man.
So yeah,
I'm good.
45U is just out of
No, even the adult flag leagues. Like I was in a men's flag league. I guess my late 20s, early 30s for a while.
Yeah, we all were.
And then I remember some of the younger. I got a lot of younger brothers, and they were like, "We need to kind of revamp this team." So I called one of my brothers and I said, "All right, bring some guys over." So next thing I know, like the whole team is like these like guys in their like early 20s, and all the guys that are 10 years older. We were kind of like taking a step back further and further. Next thing we know, we were just on the sidelines. Like, "Go, all right, go guys, go!" And we're watching all the young guys play, and we were winning again. But that's when I left. I was like, "Oh, this is I'm not playing."
It's a young man game.
It's a young
man.
It's a young man's game.
Look, flag football took me out. I had bilateral torn quad tendons.
He beat me. He beat me.
I had one kneecap on the outside and one kneecap on the inside, man. Yeah, Sunday morning flag football at George Mason High School. No, thank you.
I thought losing 3 ACLs to flag football was bad. He came in here and
I was walking
trumped
around
me.
like Lieutenant Dan for the longest time. But yeah, man, I football in the area. Highly recommend for the simple fact that it's fraternity based and it's men sharpening men. It's iron sharpening iron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who you guys got coming up for this upcoming year? You guys got anybody who's on your radar?
In terms of
Anything, man. Anybody is returning players.
Early predictions.
Yeah, early predictions.
wow, this is the super early predictions,
Yeah.
which is good. We can laugh at this a year from now.
We can laugh at this in August, you know.
So August is still, you still might have hope for whatever we're about to say right now.
So I'll go a deep cut. Lake Braddock had a backup JV quarterback who looked like Ty Jackson.
Wow.
Like, threw like him. I mean, he was pretty talented. Now, obviously, he could. I remember we watched a JV game, and I was like,
Yeah, it can.
I was like, that kid starts for almost every other team that we had seen.
Okay.
He was pretty talented. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but he had a cannon. He could sling it a little bit.
All right, I'll go. I'll see your Lake Braddock, and I'll match you. Obviously, we know West Springfield, because you're bringing back Wickham. You got the younger Lewis, right? You got Kyle Lewis coming in.
Okay.
So they got some guys, and we know the Parkers can coach. But South County. I don't even need to say Madison and Westfield, right?
Right.
It's
It's obvious.
right?
It's obvious.
South Lakes, they were young.
Yeah.
They were young guys, and they played everybody tough.
Yeah.
They played everybody tough.
And they had a freshman team that lost to one. They lost to Madison's freshman by like a score.
Oh, they're freshmen.
Yeah,
Lucas
they
good.
went 9-1. They say they're really good.
All their skill guys are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got.
Quarterback comes back.
They're one of my tops too. They got Christian Wyatt.
Yep.
He was number 13th in the state for passing. I didn't know that. Nick Picarelli,
Picarelli, little slot guy.
Yep, top 15 as a junior for receiving. They have a guy who's returning who was top in the state for total tackles, and Cameron Soto, a linebacker. And so they got some guys on both sides of the ball that are returning. They were really young last year. Yeah, and the one game that we caught them live against Battlefield, like I said, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now the wheels fell off a little bit because they weren't very deep.
Right.
But when we were talking to South Lake's coach at AFCA, he was letting us know that their to your point, JV and freshmen were good.
Really good.
Really good. Probably he said arguably one of the best JV and freshman teams they've seen in a long time.
Wow.
So
They're gonna.
All right, I like that one.
They're gonna.
I like that. And gotta go talk about. We started the show off with this, the Robinson revival.
oh yeah,
Robinson
I like the Robo revival.
I just don't know so that's one team I don't know players, and I don't know who's coming back, who's left. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now he's in, he can start his program.
Yep.
And I'm sure as the season goes on, we'll be watching and we'll be paying attention, and that obviously I hope that Lake Braddock Robinson game's not early. I hope it's later, right? Because that'd be nicer, and then that would be a good one to show up at, because we saw Lake Braddock SoCo. We went to that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. So
I was gonna say that I don't even know if I should say this, Brent, because I don't know if it's news yet. But I was going to say the best offense and defensive player, in my opinion, in this year coming up is both from the same school in Westfield. But I don't know if it's
no, it's not news yet. It's not news
So we're
yet.
not going to
Not news yet.
We're not going to go there. Yeah.
I don't know this one, and I guess I'll find out whatever it is.
But I will say that one of the best returning receivers in the state, in my opinion, is definitely Kai from Westfield.
Lee,
Yeah,
yeah.
Malachi Lee from Westfield.
And,
I mean,
and
he's
who knows if he's there too.
a freak. I've already mentioned Xavier Winkleman from Wakefield. He was the top 10 receiver in the state as a freshman. And then, of course, you have Kai Lee. I think from Kettle Run, they actually put out a couple of kids. I know we don't mention Kettle Run or out there on that side, but they have a Carter Lube who's a returning rusher, like a top 15 returning rusher in the area. And then we already mentioned Woodbridge and their returning skill guys as well. They return a top 30 rusher, Marquis Sharp. They return two receivers in James Shaw, who was lightning last year, and then Vinny Hill was also lightning last year.
That's a huge trio.
Yeah.
They just got to figure out the quarterback.
They just gotta figure out the
Tucker's younger brother's there. I don't know what grade
He's
is
a
he?
sophomore.
Like a rising sophomore.
Yeah.
So he's young.
Young.
They got to figure out that.
They're going to probably get a guy.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody there. I just don't have the name, so I don't want to misquote it. But I think there's somebody there that not saying to me Caleb,
Right.
but I think he'll be able to do the job.
Well, it's an easy job to attract somebody.
It is with all the talent.
Yeah.
And then, to follow up with your Lake Braddock, I think they're going to reload too.
Yeah,
But they have the two guys on defense, Cody Blaylock and Gerard Pulliam, who led the state in tackles, like top 20 in the state in tackles. So
got
sacks.
Why ask why?
Yeah.
That's
Sam
our,
Rye.
that's our stat guy. He got it all.
Yeah, he does. you and Carl, you guys got all the stats.
Yeah, man. I was looking it up, man, because I was very interested to see the returning starters for this year. And in this area, we have more returning sophomores that started at the varsity level than we do juniors that started at the varsity level. So those guys that I just mentioned are all underclassmen. But majority of the talent that's coming back are sophomores. A majority of the talent at pivotal positions are actually like freshmen and sophomores. So
a lot of good football coming up in the next couple years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very excited. And I don't think that we're going to see the powerhouses. I think this year is going to be a lot like last year, where we saw those teams where they're usually the middle of the line road.
Yep.
They start to become like those 8, 9, 10 win teams. And I love this area for that reason. Right. This year's football for that reason is because
consistent parity.
Just consistent. Yeah,
Great parity.
Yeah.
Great parity.
Yeah, it was great. So I'm very excited for this season. Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you guys, as we're on our way out here, what on the show, you guys got any big interviews to look forward to coming up? Just tease? You want to tease anything to us?
Look, there's a former 2-time Super Bowl champion that we are working on putting on our show. I'm not going to name drop, but that's one,
Might
right?
be 3.
I like it. I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh no! The other guy, that'd be his first.
Oh, it would. Yeah.
If he wins tomorrow, that'll be his first in his retirement
go.
year.
Yeah.
But I was talking about somebody else.
I got you.
Yeah.
And congrats to him for winning or not winning, depending on people.
Right, right. Because this will be aired on Monday, so congratulations, maybe.
Maybe. Right.
The biggest thing for us is you guys handle like a lot of the local coaches and a lot of the dialogue that goes on between them, and we commend you guys for doing that.
Absolutely.
We think the area has a lot of that. And you guys have really spearheaded that. What we wanted to be able to do this off season is get a lot of the area's college coaches. So we can just give a little bit more insight as to what it takes to be recruited, especially out of this area. Because we can throw out all the hypotheticals, we can throw out the conjecture, but at the end of the day, we're not in it. And so I would like, the big challenge for us is to be able to get coaches at all levels to come on the pod. And have that conversation with them about what it takes what they're seeing in the recruiting world and how it differentiates between the lower levels and the higher levels. To be able to get some DOFO guys in here, like director of football operation guys in here, to be able to get some high school ADs in here, right, to give us some insight. I would love to get Mike McCall on the podcast if he would be open to it.
Mike McCall.
VHSL, be able to get them on here, and then do our gamut of like community servers and providers, the ones that are creating the 7-on-7s and the combines and stuff like that. All like the kind of outlier people that are involved.
The youth program guys.
Yeah. So those, I mean, nothing too exciting, but definitely some stuff.
That's exciting. Good luck, man. We love you guys do.
Thanks, man.
You know,
Yeah,
and I know with the level stuff coming out and the app and now you've started to make that push and I like what we're seeing. I think it's exciting and it's important for the kids to have some. You know, it's hard. No one, even the experts, don't even know everything right now.
Yeah.
So people need some kind of guidance.
Yeah.
So it's good that you're providing a platform for them to kind of get that knowledge that they might need.
What we have to talk to you guys about is putting your content on the app.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we create an entire ecosystem where like kids have a news feed. So based on your region, you can see different media.
Oh, okay.
Different media pages or different pieces of content, and you guys definitely give a lot of insight from this area and could definitely draw more attraction on the app, and definitely have a larger audience from the kids as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Let me know about that.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Cool, man. You got anything else, B?
We didn't even talk about the WAPO, but I mean, I guess
WAPO.
WSH Wash Post.
The post.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Let's wrap it up with that.
Let's close on that.
Well, it's good segue because you were kind of talking about different media, and different platforms, and I think it's a shame, man. I started off. I worked at the Fairfax Journal. That's where I met my wife, and I was just an editorial assistant, didn't know what I was doing, but to see where things were, and then growing up as a kid, reading Will Bond, and we've seen a lot of this. Been a lot of good eulogies written over the last couple of days. but Wilbon and Kornheiser and Boswell and Sally Jenkins and all these people, and nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's all gone.
Right.
Well, you and I were talking yesterday. I mean, the Washington Post it's New York Times and the Post. Those are the two. Those are the standard. Now you had the Chicago Tribune, you had L.A. Times, but God, you think about Kornheiser and Wilbon.
Yeah.
And you can still see them on PTI and stuff, but that's where it's all gone.
where it started, yeah.
Started with TV, but now this is where it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone has. Look at Dan Le Batard. Everyone's got a podcast, and everyone's doing, and that's just where it's gone. That's
where it is.
And years ago, there was a movie premiere. I forgot. This is like 8 years ago, and I forgot what movie it was, but the Barstool guys were at the movie premiere. It was Portnoy, pizza guy. And all the young kids know who he is, right? Mm-hmm. And he was there, and he was interviewing the actors. And there was a couple of big name, like Hugh Grant, and a couple of big name actors at the time. And it was at the red carpet, and people were walking by in New York City, and they ran over, and then and Portnoy's like, he's got the mic, and he's like, you want to ask Hugh Grant a question to the young people? And they're like, no, I don't even know who that is. They're like, we want to talk to you, the pizza guy.
Yeah.
They all the young people wanted to talk to the guy who had a podcast and the guy who was on the internet. They didn't want to talk to the actors, and that was like 10 years ago.
Right.
And it's only gotten bigger since then. Now we're seeing it with the newspapers.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, I think corporate media, to your point, it's on its way out, and independent media is on its way in, and I think you're seeing it at every level. Right. The largest podcasts aren't produced by CNN and Fox. The largest podcast is produced by Joe Rogan.
I was about to say, like Joe Rogan, right?
Who's an independent guy, who's a comedian, right? And I think you're going to see that in all, like, the Breaking Points, who's based out of Northern Virginia, gets more viewers per show than CNN and Fox on the political end, right? And I genuinely believe you're going to start seeing that, or have already started seeing that on the sports end, right? Where people, they want that long format type of conversation where you can really dive into a subject, and they want to get away from the talking head panel where everybody gets 2 minutes to make a gotcha moment point, and doesn't really give any substance. The athletes have taken a notice of that too, because you don't see a lot of these professional athletes on SportsCenter talking. You don't see them trying to do the media broadcasting thing. You see some of them, but majority of them are running their own podcasts.
Yeah.
Or they're, on somebody else's podcast. And I think that's just the direction that we're going to see it. I think that Up in Smoke gets more views than actual SportsCenter.
Yeah,
right? And those guys are smoking weed and talking football or talking basketball.
Right.
And SportsCenter guys are actually, they have like millions of dollars that they spend releasing every story. And I think it's just because people want that genuine interaction and engagement. I think that's just the direction we're heading in as a society. I think that's why you see a lot of turmoil. Whereas we're moving away from like this corporate, very, I don't want to say fifi. It's like it feels very fake. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel real. The conversations and what people are highlighting, it feels very monotone. It feels very, it misses points. It misses the opportunities to either praise or whatever, right? And it always seems like a build up with corporate media just so they can break people down for the next story.
Exactly.
And I think people are just tired of that.
That's it.
We got a nice email from someone the other day, and they were saying, look, the Washington Post, might have been a tweet actually, but we posted a shout out to the Washington Post and all that stuff. And Nikki Walcott did a great job. He was on our show a lot. Shout out to Nikki. But they were limited too in what they could do and the resource, especially the last few years. And this parent wrote us and said, you guys did a great job. And he's like, honestly, you guys have done a better job, covering all the stories of local, we're talking about, Northern Virginia football than they have over the last 2 years. And he's not wrong, only because I'm not saying that they were doing a bad job. They're limited. They got to cover a bunch of games. Yeah. Right? And meanwhile, and they got to get it out in these 10-second sound bites, right, for the news, or for the quick little article. And they don't give them a lot of space anymore. Yeah. They have a small little write-up. Meanwhile, we got our show or whatever, and we could break down every game from Lewis versus Mount Vernon to Westfield versus Madison, right, and in depth and take our time talking about it. And so the parents are like, well, that's what I want to see.
Yes.
You're breaking down our game. You're talking about my kid.
Right.
Other than those guys just giving a little blurb. That's all they could do now.
Right.
So, we've kind of taken it over anyways.
Yeah.
And it's a shame
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a shame. It's good for us, but it's a shame in general for everybody.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah. I think the direction we should definitely move in is being able to take a whole bunch of us independent media, high school sports media people, and just bump heads, create content with each other, collaborate with one another, be on each other's podcasts. I don't need to cover Maryland and DC because there's guys already doing a great job of doing that. What I need to do is build a bridge and a relationship with those guys so we can get Virginia to see what Maryland and DC are doing, and you guys can see what we're doing. And then in the off season, we can come together and make something even better. Right. Or the All-Star games become better, or the 7-on-7s become better. The collaborative camps become better. Maybe the off-season or the out-of-conference schedules and matchups become better.
Now coaches are watching, and now they want to go play that team.
And so I think it really starts with us. It really starts with us creating that narrative. It starts with us bringing people together. And you guys have been doing a phenomenal job starting that process.
Yeah, appreciate it. And your proof of that, proof of that is Oscar Smith's helmet here. Right. I mean, I'd like to, man, at some point, I'm sure 757 has their version of us.
Right.
Let's get with them in the offseason and talk shop.
That's right. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach and have a pot on the sand.
That's
you know what I mean? But hey, man, I Josh was giving us that look. This is a lot of editing.
Y'all have me doing a lot of work.
We're gonna wrap this up unless you guys have something else.
I think we hit all the points and even some extra points today. This was amazing, gentlemen. Thank you guys.
Always great.
Thank you guys.
Can we get one in before the summer ends, or can we get one in the spring?
No doubt. You know how it is, man. I mean, the offseason's tough. Content's tough.
Yeah. It is. It is. We're going to be at a whole bunch of 7-on-7s. We're going to be at a whole bunch of area like Glacier events. Any invite that we get, we'll be sure to tap you guys up. That way, because we don't want this to fall off because there's no football. There's plenty of football to discuss. Yeah.
And you guys are newsbreakers, so
yeah. Well, all right, bro. We appreciate your time, man. And thank you. Thank you
guys.
I appreciate it.
All right. Levels, Dark Visors, out. And Nova Podcast, out.
all right. See you guys. Don't forget that.